Hello and welcome to RPGs Uncovered. We are back with episode 3, I believe it is, of Iron, Coke, and Conscience, our Locus demo play miniseries. If you've not tuned in before, this is our RPGs Uncovered series. It's a series dedicated to showing just how quick and easy it can be to learn a new TTRPG. We are here to show you to help you find your next favorite game, and to teach you how to play it and to run it. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and with our previous two episodes and going forward. So if you missed any of our previous stuff, you can catch that over on YouTube under the same name, just at RPGs Uncovered in the search bar. Real simple. We have previous episodes of Iron, Coke, and Conscience, and 4 other series of RPGs Uncovered that you can check out. But for today, we are going to move right along because we have a lot to get through. A few simple announcements going forward. I just want to make sure that we catch. Of course, you can always support us. Basically just by going out and telling people. Bringing more people into the channel who enjoy the show is the best way to grow a channel. So if you're enjoying it, go tell your friends, your families, your enemies, your coworkers, random people on the street. All kinds of stuff you can do. And if you have the capability and want to, you can support monetarily over at Ko-Fi, where we give you all kinds of cool player and GM insights for your monthly support. Or just stop by, drop a couple bucks. I'm working on a fund to make a really cool animated intro, and stuff like that. I have a whole bunch of things lined up. I won't go into that too much. You can read about that there. Next off, the best way to support all of these lovely people over here is with the Mayhem meter that I want to make sure I get out right away, and I'll touch upon throughout the game. That is a fund that goes straight to the cast. You can scroll down to the page. There's a big yellow banner for tips. That is the best way to tip and support the channel, because anything we get there is split into 4 between all of us, and that goes straight to help pay these guys for their time and creativity and commitment and just being awesome. Because we're a small channel, I don't have the capital to pay people without support coming in. So the Mayhem meter is a great way to show me that you like the content and allow me to support these awesome people. And every 50 bucks, there's a little meter up at the top. Something crazy is going to happen. So keep those tips flowing in, and I have some cool plans. But going forward, we're going to be working on a slightly truncated schedule for Iron, Coke, and Conscience. We already missed 1 episode, and we are going to be off air next week. So we have this week and potentially 1, maybe 2 more episodes. We're going to see where we end today, have a little bit of discussion, and we will let you guys know on the 17th, I believe it is, what the rest of our schedule is looking like. But I have a lot of cool things planned and a lot to cram into this episode. So we're gonna see how that goes. Let's see. Season 6 is incoming. I've almost worked out season 6. I am looking to get The Treacherous Turn on RPGs Uncovered. We did a Whip Workshop creator interview with it. It looks like an amazing game, a very different game. All of the players come together to play a single AI bent on being the most efficient it possibly can be, by players playing different aspects of that AI programming. So stay tuned on our socials and on our Discord for the casting call if you would like to try to get into RPGs Uncovered as a player or supporter or whatever other means you might want. And before we get going today, as opposed to right before we jump into things, I want to make sure I get the content warning out of the way, just because I have it in my head right now. Locus is a very personal, psychological horror mystery TTRPG. There's going to be a lot of things that come up that are put in the game and provided by these fantastic creators here to allow me to poke them in raw places with sharp sticks. But this is discomfort that we all consented to as players. As audience, this is your chance to consent to that discomfort. There will be a number of things that could come up, both physical and imagery sort of things like body horror and manipulation and stuff like that. Though if you've been watching I'm not a particularly gruesome person. I don't really go too in detail in describing that stuff, but there will also be more emotional, mental, relationship sort of hardship. So if that's your deal, I totally understand that. Just know that as we go through this show, if you come across anything that you are uncomfortable with and you aren't enjoying it, please step aside, come back in a few minutes, or if Iron Coke and Conscience is not for you, that is totally fine. Go check out another RPGs Uncovered show, or check back next for season 6. Our main goal here is, well, of course, to find a game that you guys will all enjoy, and that means a story that you can enjoy and a game that you can enjoy. So if you're not enjoying it, go do something that you do enjoy, and check back when we have a game that's better for you. Anyway, I think that is all of my announcements. So let me throw it over to these fantastic people to briefly tell you who they are, what they're playing, and what's going on with them. Uh, let's do reverse order and throw JD on his head. We're gonna start with you today.
Somehow I knew that was coming.
Ooh,
I've gotten used to that with the
yeah.
way Lion does things, so I figured it would happen eventually. Hi, I'm JD. You can find me on social media at JD, not Jason Dean. I am playing Roman Hargreaves. He is the scion of the Hargreaves family and has discovered that his family and, well, his father's company have a lot of ties to the town that we have found ourselves in. And he is also starting to lose some trust, shall we say, in one of his closest friends who did something Roman wouldn't have expected of him. And now Roman's watching him just a little more carefully, so we're going to see how that unfolds.
Yes, we will. Speaking of which, Lion.
Hi, I'm Lion. I am the creative director and founder for Tales from the Table Studios. We can talk about all that fun stuff later, but today I will be playing Chandler Chad Washboard Goldberg, the absolute sweetheart ride or die bro, who may or may not have done something Roman would not have wanted him to do, but doesn't understand why anyone would be upset with it. And so everything's fine. We're fine. I mean, terrifying ghost smoke people, but we're fine. Also, fuck this place. And just one last thing before I pass it back. If you happen to be in a position where you are watching this out in the wild, please take an opportunity right now to look and see if there's anywhere you can stream it so that more people can find what we're doing here. It's easy to pirate TVs. Let's go.
And rounding us off, Kat, hello and welcome back.
Hi! My name is Kat. I am the host king of the podcast Sort of Symphonies, where my good cool friends playtest my game Heroic Chord, and the choir master of the podcast Roar to Heaven, where different friends playtest a different game and are punished for it. I play Laura Townsend. She is a great person. She's great. She's fantastic.
No
She
notes.
is she is a we're gonna say borderline Machiavellian, not borderline, let's not kid
Let's
ourselves.
let's let's be real.
Yeah.
She's the kind of person who proudly calls herself a pragmatist and doesn't understand why that makes people give her the side eye. um and she is here with her two best friends, and she's starting to wonder when their usefulness is going to run out.
All right. Well, I've been searching through my notes for something that I don't remember searching for, so that's the state we're in, and that's a great state to start. So let's jump right into this because I remember writing a lot of notes for this game. All right. So we're going to start off with a bit of a fast forward, a bit of a montage, because I know we ended last episode with at least 2/3 of the group resigning themselves to the fact that they might be staying in Jolston a little longer than they wanted to. You guys have met with Sheriff, who prefers to be called by his name, Colm Kilkenny, who is sort of the de facto leader of Jolston right now. Not that they're really holding elections or anything, but he seems to be keeping people together best as he can, and they let him, basically, or more so, come to him and make him as best they can. So you've had a conversation with him. He set you up in a home, provided you a meal for a night, and then offered to show you around town and make sure that you could settle in, because nobody leaves Jolston. At least nobody he knows of. Nobody has come back. And he knows just how rough it is out there, which you have experienced in your attempt to leave Jolston on foot. Walk for hours and hours through excruciating heat before the road caught fire, blew you back a good 10 meters, and not meters, feet. And there you were, right back in Jolston. Because that makes sense here, apparently. So we're going to pick up today with a bit of that montage, and we see our three characters, Roman, Chad, and Laura, being escorted through Jolston by Sheriff, by Colm Kilkenny. You meet a bunch of people. They're not all as nasty and crotchety as the old man you talked to before. Nobody's, particularly in high spirits, but at least the people sort of central to Sheriff's, Sheriff Circle are friendly enough. People offer to help you set up your own garden, teach you how to fish in the river, stuff like that. You're not staying so long that you're actually doing any of those things, but the offer was made, and I'm sure Laura stifled that reaction that Kat just had.
Well, no, because I was laughing at JD's reaction.
That was the face that
Yes.
Roman made.
Yeah, so I think that would be Laura's response to that face. Is like, yeah, you're totally gonna get Roman to go fishing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Because
I don't see why Roman would have trouble going fishing. It's easy. Chad, go fish.
yeah.
That's how Roman goes fishing, right?
It's true. Yeah, that is true.
Because life in Jolston is going to be difficult. There's no electricity. Machines seem to rust almost instantly, so survival here means self-sufficiency. Gardening, fishing, whatever home repairs that you were able to do, getting real creative with the resources that you have available. And these are the conversations you have throughout the next day or so. Getting set up. They get you one of the many rundown houses, one of the less rundown houses in the area, and give you a few pointers on setting things up. But we're going to pick up in the evening, let's say, early evening, after you've gone around, talked to a whole bunch of people, met some new people, spent a little bit more time with Sheriff and his son Samuel, which I believe you met briefly last episode. He's been tagging around. He's about 16, 17 or so. And there's a daughter as well, younger, somewhere around 8 to 10 or something. But she's staying home. But let's pick up with you guys actually out front of the now rusted corpse of Roman's brand new 1997 Porsche 911. Because you have a whole week-long trip's vacation worth of stuff in your car. And since apparently you're moving in, you don't know how long this is going to be. You might as well grab your packs and at least throw them in some place that has a roof without rust holes in it. So you guys are gathering your things, gathering your pack. Do you have any initial thoughts or conversations or anything you want to do here at the Porsche?
Absolutely.
Take it away.
Laura is, she's got her suitcase. It's larger than maybe a week's worth because she needed things. Don't ask questions. Anyway, she's going to fall back. I think while Chad is getting Roman's stuff out of the car for him.
Which he absolutely is.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Yep. With a smile on his face.
Oh yeah. And
He'll
she's gonna
offer to.
fall ba-
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say he'd offer to carry Lauren's stuff too.
Let's see if you have room after Roman's. And she's gonna fall back and stand next to Roman and say, "So how long do you think he's gonna keep being useful?"
And Roman's going to look over at Chandler and say, I would imagine not much longer.
Well, we expected 5 days, and he was expecting to party, so he definitely packed more than 5 days worth. But he's been
also-
stressed out.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He's been using more than he would have.
That boy's gonna become a problem.
We have options for how to handle it.
We do. But in the meantime, I guess it helps not to have to carry your own luggage.
Well, as you pointed out, Laura, he's still useful for now.
Oh no, don't worry, Chad. I've got it. You look like you have your arms full.
All right, no problem. I got this. You sure? Like I could just.
Oh, absolutely.
He's strapped to
So-
my back, bro.
So Chad, while these two are having, on the other side of the car, they're having whatever conversation they are. You're busy gathering your own gear, gathering Roman's gear, trying to play the mental back Tetris of how to also get Laura's gear as well before she just says that. But you bend down to get something just underneath the back seat of the Porsche. Do 911s have a back seat? I think they do. It's a real tight back seat, but you can squeeze
But
3 or
Laura
4
had to be
people in there.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just
this
folded
world,
Laura up
they
in the boot.
do.
In this world, they do. So, I didn't even look at that. I'm not a car guy. But in this world, they do. Roman's family would have had the funds to get one custom made or something. Anyway, you bend down and, grab something behind, tucked underneath one of the very small back seats. Not a lot of legroom back there. And you pull that out, and as you pull that out, it seems to have caught on something. It looks like a folded up sheet of paper. Kind of like an envelope. It's not sealed or anything, and it's actually sort of it sort of started to unfold, sort of fall apart as you pull this piece of luggage out, and you can see there's a note written on it in very flowy, girly-ish handwriting.
Chad, seeing that, I think would probably let curiosity get the better of him here. I think he will glance up for a moment to make sure that the two of them are busy engaged in whatever obviously harmless conversation they're having.
Perfectly normal conversation.
Yeah, they like to talk a lot. It's fine.
Just friends being friends. It's
Friends
Yeah,
and
yeah.
pals.
Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah, and I think he's gonna take the moment to sort of like slowly reach down and sort of like unfold it and see what it says.
Yeah, so you sort of bend down on your elbows and pull it forward. It starts unfolding, and you just slip that other side, unfold that, and it looks like it was folded so that the written side was on the inside of this makeshift envelope.
Sure.
As you do, you unfold it, and not expecting this, you see something drop out of the envelope. It takes you a while to realize, it doesn't look like much, it's this little wisp of a thing that falls out. And you take this now unfolded letter, turn that around and glance down, and it's a pair of fairly risque women's undergarments.
And I think Chad seeing that just goes, nice.
Bro. And then you turn the note over and you skim it. The general gist is, my dearest Roman, I did not know you are such a good listener, amongst other things. We will most certainly have to do this again. Perhaps we can try that thing you were talking about. Signed, Chad, your sister. What is your sister's name?
Valerie.
Valerie. Signed, Valerie Goldberg.
So
XO, winky face.
there's a moment where I think Chad has to kind of like read it twice. He's got to make sure he's understanding this. And then he like looks up. And in my head, I imagine there's this moment where through the like opened or broken or whatever, like dirtied window of the car, because they're on the other side, there is this sort of like meeting where they look at each other. And it's this and again, this is just like in my head, it's this perfect moment of
I
like,
think that's right when Roman was like, yeah, he's not gonna last much longer.
yeah. And then he just kind of like does the like up nod. And then he's gonna fold it up and he's gonna put it in his pocket and go back to doing what he's been doing after making sure to very reluctantly sort of stuff the undergarment back under the seat. He like takes one of the pieces of luggage and tries to like jam it.
The ice scraper. You can grab that and just kind of.
Yeah. Ugh. And then once it's back under there, he's like, bro. And that's it. And then I think he gets up, and that's about the time when Laura is like, yeah, no, it's fine, I got it. And he's like, all right, cool. You sure? I got this. No big deal. All right, bet.
Chandler, you're such a good friend. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, I'd do anything for my bros. We're like family.
That's exactly what we're like. And I know you would.
Yeah. I got you, bro. Yeah.
So you gather your
Yeah.
things and make your way back to this slightly less disheveled row house and begin unpacking. As much or as little as you would.
I don't think Chad's gonna unpack anything. Chad is still dead set on getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Laura's gonna change because she took Colm up on some borrowed clothes, and she doesn't wanna.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Chad's gonna throw on another pair of like really short. I think now it's gonna be like really short cut off like denim shorts, with like little like strands of the material hanging and the pockets that are longer than the pants. And then like like an undershirt, like a white undershirt that's just one size too small, so it's like painted on almost.
Yeah. Laura's typical is athletic wear, so she's like, well, we're gonna be doing some athletics, so got like a tracksuit, crop top, loose fitting, like a light windbreaker.
All right.
And Roman continues to dress completely inappropriately to the situation, still wearing slacks and a button-down shirt.
Yep. It is far too hot for that, and you know it's only going to get dirty, but you gotta look your part. Chad, any initial reaction to this new discovery here while you are all settling into this place? Are you cramming that down?
Chad is processing, and I think it's gonna take Chad a little bit of time to process. Chad is Chad is taking time to sort of process this, try and figure out when it might have happened, and then go from there. But I don't think there's any immediate reaction to it. I think he, poor sweet summer child that he is at least intelligent enough to recognize that if he just brings this up now, then it's not gonna get anywhere.
Mm.
Roman will have 1,000 answers. Who knows which one of them will be real? And like, then what? Let's get out of this town first, and then we'll fucking deal with that bullshit.
Okay. So while you are getting yourselves put together, as you're getting yourselves put together, you notice there's a let's see, how do I want to do this? You notice there's a knock at your door now.
Chandler.
I'm still putting stuff away, bro. Do
I
you
will
you mind
it.
grabbing that one?
I am going to answer the door. I am absolutely not letting Chad answer the door. I am not letting Roman tell Chad to answer the door. I'm answering the door.
Okay. Laura, you go over to the door and
Hello.
you open up. You see Sammy standing there.
Oh.
Samuel, sheriff's kid. Again, 16, 17, so a kid, but, young adult, high school sort of level. You guys are really only, 4 or 5 years older than him at this point, being college juniors, I think we settled on somewhere around
Something
there.
like that, yeah.
Yep.
He's, he's got the sort of grunge look going on, but probably not by choice because he's wearing the same hand-me-down clothes throughout this town that has been passed around to whoever needs them for the last 20 years. So none of his clothes particularly fit. They've got, all kinds of stains on them. The pants are all ripped up. Looks a little disheveled, but he generally tries to keep himself in higher spirits. Very, very inquisitive kid. He followed you guys around during your tour. Was clearly not creepily observing you, but just interested to see, who these new people were. Would probably ask questions here or there, or try to, butt into these brief conversations that you had with some of the other residents. So he's standing there. He's got this sort of shoulder length, scraggly, unkept, slightly greasy, dirty blondish mop of hair on his head. Dealing with that ever bothersome teenage year face you get without any of the products that would help being stuck in Jolston. And of course is everybody here is always dealing with a certain level of course, sweat, but also soot that just sort of builds up around them. Despite there not being any obvious smoke, no actively ongoing smelting or anything going on. There's just this soot that somehow seems to build up. But we got this kid here, this young man, Sammy. He comes to the door. Oh, Laura, right? What's up?
Yes. Not much. We're just kind of getting ourselves situated. Thanks for your help today.
Oh,
What can I do for you?
Oh, well, I just wanted to stop by and, see if, what you guys had going on.
Well, how neighborly of you.
Oh, I mean, there's only so many people here.
True. Well, I wager once the boys are ready, we're probably going to do a little exploring.
Oh, round town, I think we showed you most of the stuff, but I mean, there's
Yes.
plenty of places to poke around. I mean, I could show you some of my favorite buildings.
Oh, that could be fun. I'll bring it up with the boys. I don't know. Chad's really got his heart set on trying to get out of here. So I think Roman and I are gonna, keep him company while he looks around.
Right, right, right.
Mm.
Yeah, you guys were you were talking about the steel with Dad earlier.
Yes. Oh yes, yes. We ended up in there yesterday.
Yeah, that place is wild, isn't it?
There was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, he looks around and sort of leans in conspiratorially. I'm really not supposed to be up to go. We're not really supposed to go up there, but that place is wild.
It is a lot. I understand why your dad doesn't want you in there though.
Yeah, there's nothing else going on here, though.
Okay. So when the boys brought up the ghosts, you saw them, right?
I don't know if I ever met any of the coal miner, the coke
No.
workers. No, I
Okay.
think
What happened when
I,
you
I
were
think I
there
think the old
then?
I think the old man, yeah, he might have done that stuff. I don't remember.
Absolutely not.
Oh, oh, you already talked. Okay. Oh.
I no, we did speak to him. Yes, it was not an experience I am eager to repeat. Um, but anyway, what did you see when you were in there?
Oh, up at the steel. Um.
Yeah, because I feel like nobody believes us.
Well, I mean, it's been 20 years since anyone worked there. I don't know why anyone would be walking around in you know coke worker stuff.
Mm, true. But you said that place was wild, so you must have seen something interesting, right?
Oh, I mean, I don't know, just going up and looking at all the old machines, and they got those giant cauldrons.
Oh, yes?
One of them fell over, tipped over, and there, stuff poured out. I think there might have been someone in there.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yikes.
didn't I didn't get I didn't get too close to that.
That's probably for the
Not that I
best.
was scared or anything. I just there
No.
was so much going on. I had so many other things to look at.
Yeah, and
When I go
it
back
wouldn't.
there, it'd be something to look at.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean there's all kinds of stuff there. I mean I'm sure nothing works, but I've pulled some little. He sort of looks around again and lowers his voice. I pulled some of the old coke out of there. Man,
Oh,
that
yeah?
that shit blows up.
Oh, like explodes, huh?
I mean, it catches fire real good if you smash it though. Like when it's on fire, it just,
Okay. Oh, I did not. I am learning so much about steel mills while I'm here.
yeah. I've picked up a few things from folks. They don't
Yeah.
really like talking about it. Except for the old guy, but nobody really likes talking to him either. So,
No, because I mean, you've lived with him longer than I have. Awful.
oh
Just
yeah, he's a
terrible.
douche.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think from off in the back, there's just this moment. Fuck that old man.
Yes, dear. Yes, absolutely.
Uh, yeah. So, do you plan on going back there? Because I
Probably.
I could show you around a little.
Calculus. Calculus occurs in Laura's little brain because on one hand, having someone who's been here, who's been there more than we have to show us around would be helpful. Counterpoint: if his father found out we took him to the steel, we would be murdered.
Only if you find him.
Yes,
Only if he finds out.
Corollary counterpoint. I'm sure Laura would pick up on this, even though my incompetency with it. This kid is definitely, in his own 17-year-old way, trying to flirt with you.
Oh, absolutely. No, Laura
100%.
did pick up on that.
Let me show you around the big scary place.
And
Mhm.
Laura's like, on one hand, this could be incredibly useful, but on the other hand, I do not want to be murdered. And if we end up having to stay in this town longer than we expected, there's one person we should not make an enemy of.
The
And
old
that's
man.
the one who's made it. Yeah, no,
Just
he's
thinking
everyone's
that.
enemy. He's everyone's enemy. But like, Colm has been like the one person allowing us to lead a vaguely human existence in here. So making an enemy of him is a bad calculation.
Mm-hmm. Like I know some great places. I could show you the cauldron with the kind of melted guy in it. There's where the thing exploded. That's pretty cool. That sent shit all over the place, but it came down right on, over on the I don't really know what any of the buildings are called, really, but
No,
it
who
fell
knows
down
this
and
thing? Yeah.
collapsed this whole area, and there's just like it's covered in steel with all kinds of shit sticking out of it.
Oh my goodness.
Fucking wild.
And there was a guy in there. Whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Um.
Freaky shit, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Absolutely, that is a wild first date story. I mean, I don't know when the boys are gonna want to set out. I'll talk to them if the boys are okay with it, because you know the kind of maybe you don't know the kind. Anyway, if the boys are okay with it, we'll swing by and pick you up.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No,
Okay.
that's great.
Yeah, because we obviously would have to be super secretive about this. Because if like we're not supposed to go there, we're not supposed to go there.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I'm good at sneaking out. I mean, there's not really
Oh,
anything
I
to,
bet.
so.
Oh yeah, I bet there's nothing else to do. You'd probably get really good at that. I'm gonna talk to the boys. I'm sure they'll be in favor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, go
Yeah.
talk to the boys.
Yeah, we'll do. I'm gonna close the door. Okay, no, like we'll come get you. We'll come get you. Say like later, because I think the boys are gonna eat first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
just let me know.
Yeah, we'll do.
Jack, I have a question.
Yes.
I know that I said I jammed the stuff back under the seat, but in hindsight, would it be okay if I pocketed it instead?
If you would like to. Yeah, sure.
I would like to have pocketed both things.
Okay.
Instead of jamming it back under. I'm sorry.
No, that's
Right.
fine. No, that's great. You can add your sister's underwear to your inventory.
I will do so.
Yeah.
There's a phrase I'm sure you never thought you'd say,
Yeah.
much less on camera.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think Laura like waves goodbye to Samuel, and she closes the door, and slowly that very painted on smile she has fades into like an I'm doing math face. I gotta find Roman. I gotta.
So, in the meantime,
In the meantime.
Chad
Yeah.
has been putting everything away, right? And I think once he's done, if he comes across Roman, I assume while the conversation is going on with Laura and the kid, Chad will be like, "Oh, hey, bro, you dropped something in the car," and he's just gonna toss them at Roman, the underwear, not the note, just the underwear. Just yeah, you dropped something in the car, bro.
And Roman catches them
Now, just to contextualize Roman for myself, yourself, and the audience,
Yep.
would he be able to pick these out of a lineup, or is the pool just too filled for that?
Way too
All
full.
right, cool.
Yes.
Like
Perfect.
Chandler throws the underwear at him. He catches the underwear and kind of stares at it, balls it up, and looks over at Chandler and asks, "What would make you think we would need to bring this, Chandler?"
I don't know, man. I just thought you might want to hold on to it, bro.
Well, we're in this place.
Better than just leaving it to stink up the car, right?
That car is already effectively gone. Does it really matter?
I guess not. I know you like your prizes and shit, bro.
I mean, you're not wrong. That is true. Though, you should know me well enough, Chandler, that these aren't the prizes I care about the most. They're lovely mementos for a moment.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I just, it must be the heat getting to me. That's what it is.
Are you feeling all right, Chandler?
I'm just tired, Yeah, yesterday was real stressful, and then I was carrying y'all on my back for a long time, and then we went out to that fucking shithole, and there's like ghosts, and you're like, it's fine, it's just ghosts, bro. I'm like, the fuck, it's fine, I'm fine, bro. I just need to get some water. That's all.
And I mean, I can't lie. I care about you, Chandler. I've been wanting to check in. I know that we're stuck here. Where are things at with your supply?
I mean, it's not great, but I'm gonna make it work. We're not gonna be here that much longer. It'll be fine.
And how long do you think you can make it work, Chandler?
Maybe a day, 2 days, give or take. Should be fine. I mean, worst case, I can scale back a little bit. We can mix some stuff up and try and stretch stuff out. I mean, it's fine. I'm gonna be fine, bro. I appreciate the concern though. It means a lot, but like I've gone dry before.
And how did that go for you, Chandler? Because I don't remember it going particularly well.
I mean, it wasn't great, but like I'm a fucking stallion, bro.
You certainly are, Chandler. You certainly are.
And then before he like walks off to go back to wherever, literally just looking for an excuse to step away, he's gonna stop for a minute. He's gonna be like, "I love you, dude."
I love you too, Chandler.
And he's gonna kind of like put his fist out,
Yeah, Roman will give you a fist bump.
and then he's gonna turn. And as he turns to walk away, just the smile dies on his face. And I think for the first time, really, in the time that the camera has ever been on Chandler, there is a very different look on his face. The joviality is gone, the boisterousness is gone, even that like youthful arrogance that was there when he was like screaming at the old dude is gone. There's just this, I'm reluctant to call it a twinkle. It's like a tinge of seething hatred just for a moment as he walks literally just like past the camera,
Mm-hmm.
leaving the shot of Roman just kind of standing.
And I think it is striking. One second. My tech got weird for a moment. It is fine. I think what is striking there is we have just seen Laura's mask slip when she finished her conversation with Samuel, we've now seen a change in Chandler as well. But as the camera lingers on Roman, his expression doesn't change that much. He's been staring at Chandler with that calculating look, and well, he did smile as they exchanged those last pleasantries. There is not a significant shift in how he is looking as he watches Chandler walk away.
Okay. Yeah, you stand there and watch him walk away for a beat or two before turning around, and I would like you to make a clumsiness check. For the demo play side of things, every roll in Locus is 3d6. You roll those, you consult the difficulty of the check. This will be a medium difficulty check, so your medium value of the 3 results you rolled will be used, and we will compare that to your clumsiness, which you have 4 dots in, so you need a 5 or better to succeed.
Yep, I failed that.
Okay. You turn around and, start to walk off, and you trip over Laura's bag, which you don't remember her putting there, but it is in your way, and you trip over. You full, stumble, your foot catches on the strap, and you just face plant down to the ground. You will take 1 point of one tick on your death's door tracker. A minor injury, but nothing that has a condition associated with it. But Laura's leaving her shit around, and it's in your way.
Don't love that. That is not one of my favorite things. I would like to voluntarily choose to make a temper check.
Okay. Yeah, we will call this. Yeah. Go ahead and make a temper check. Regular difficulty, medium difficulty.
All right, that is 2 5s and a 4, all of which beat my temper of 3.
Okay.
Oh, good. We're not gonna fight yet.
So Roman can't help but, do what we all do in those types of moments where you trip and fall and mutter a string of expletives as a result of that. And there's a moment, especially as he looks back at the bag, where he looks pissed. He recognizes it. He has things he wants to say. And then he just slowly gets back to his feet.
Laura, you walk in back to the room where everyone was gathering at this point to consult the bros. To see. You weren't going to go talk to them.
No, that was a lie. I do not intend to consult the bros. I'm trying to decide what decision Laura makes on her fucking own.
Okay, so you're hanging out on your own then.
No, I'm returning to the room. I'm just saying that consulting the bros is not on my
Gotcha.
agenda.
So this is when you walk back into the room and see Roman standing up, furrowed brow directed at your bag.
Oh, fuck is that doing there?
That's an excellent question, Laura.
I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna return it to. I'm assuming Laura has claimed a room. Like, she's not the kind of person who likes to be exposed in any way. So she likes to be away from people. She likes to have her own space, and she keeps her shit in her own space, so no one else can fuck with it. This is very leaving the bag out is very out of character for Laura. She probably didn't.
Laura, I
Yes?
would recommend that you be more careful with your belongings.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing. And she says as she's taking it to her room. And she's still kind of got that doing math face on. So now my question is, no, you know what? My mine is I would absolutely love to act in accordance with a virtue not my own, with compassion. Colm's been
Interesting.
good to us. I'm not taking his son into there.
Mm.
It would not be like as useful as he would be. That would be bastard move.
Okay. Okay.
Like as useful as that kid would be, I think even Laura is like, no. I can use
Okay.
these guys because I know these guys are bastards. This is just a kid.
All right. All right. If anyone else had made that decision, I would not say it's enough for discarding a card. But for Laura,
Yeah, who views most people in terms of their usefulness.
yes. Yes. So discarding a card.
It might also actually be the virtue not my own community instead of compassion. Because
Okay.
it's like I might need to continue to get along with his father
Mm-hmm.
and with the people of this town. And if I take him into that steel mill, that's gonna fuck up everybody's shit.
Yeah, it feels less focused on his his well-being and more still very much just about
Okay. So
The
this might
consequences
change
of
things
yeah.
mechanically for me. Are you doing this out of compassion? You don't want the kid to come to harm. You don't want, anything bad to befall Sheriff and his family for concern of their own safety and well-being, or is this a cold calculated, it would be detrimental for me to do this in the long run, so let's keep the community appeased? Because one is caring and acting under a virtue, and the other is a very
He's
pragmatic.
very typical Laura,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that the reason is actually coming from a place of gratitude. I think it's like Colm showed us around. We're having a vaguely human existence here thanks to Colm. We're no longer freaking the fuck out. We owe him one. Taking his kid into the steel mill. No,
Okay.
I think like surprisingly Laura's like, no, he did right by us. We should not do this wrong by him.
I'll let you have it. I think there's
Yay.
definitely plenty of Laura calculus going on in there that we
Yeah.
owe him,
Yeah.
but I'll let it. I'll allow it.
Listen, she's fucked over people she owed favors
Yeah.
to. This is not a let's see.
So, when you act in accordance with a virtue other than your own, you can discard a non-haunt suit card.
Yes. And so I can't discard that ace of clubs that I have, so I'm just going to pitch this 5 of diamonds.
All right. Excellent.
Because it's going to take a bit for me to pitch that one, because it's my haunt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those are more difficult to get rid of because you have to act in accordance with your own virtue.
Yeah. And I am not going to talk to the boys about it because I know Roman would probably talk me into bringing the kid.
Okay. Okay.
And Chad's pretty much a teenage boy, so he'd probably be in favor too.
You gotta let the kid grow some hair on his balls, man.
I was going to say it also, Chad, well, might. I can't say this definitively now. I was going to say Chad would just go along with what Roman said as well.
Maybe.
Historically, that would be the
Maybe.
case.
Historically,
Like, no, I think I need to make the correct decision and I need to not involve the boys.
Okay.
We're not bringing the teenager who is the son of the only person who's been decent to us in this place into the hell pit. We're not doing it. Like,
So, how you guys as a group want to proceed then?
question: do I still have any do we still have any bottles of water left?
Yeah, I should make this a community item. I think would be a good way to track that. Because I'm sure you didn't take all of it. I would imagine that Chad, you probably packed quite a few water bottles.
Yeah. Chad's kind of picky about his water. He doesn't drink that tap shit.
I mean, nor should we in this town.
I mean, yeah.
Right, yeah.
But any town.
And any water you drink here, you are gonna want to boil. All right. Yeah, you do still have some water left. I will be keeping track of your water supply. You have 3 open boxes on it before it gets damaged, and you have to start rolling for it. But I'm going to count it as a large item, something that is too bulky to carry around in its entirety. So you can each carry, your own sort of daily supply of water.
Yeah. I imagine Chad ends up carrying romance.
Always.
Of course. And is happy to do it, too.
You boys ready for a field trip?
Back to the steel mill.
You said you wanted to check out that save.
I would.
And then, again, from the other room, whatever gets us out of here the fastest.
All right.
That seems to be where we need to go and what we need to do.
Give me like 2 minutes to drain the hose and I'll be good to go. How many but I have 1 box left on my stash of jugs, right?
1 box before you have to start rolling. Yeah.
Right. Chad is going to, under the guise of using the bathroom, crack open one of the bottles of water. And then is going to pour a bunch of different things into it. A nice salad shake. And then, for posterity's sake, he's going to press his elongated pinky nail, which is a very important tool in a particular lifestyle, into the cap just enough to leave an indentation that would be noticeable to him, and then pack it with the rest of the water.
All right. Noted.
Yep.
Horrible boy.
So because you basically made a cocktail of various things here, your supply is getting dangerously low. You're gonna have to start really rationing things.
Yep.
All right.
Seems like as good a use as any.
Sure. Would you like to go back to the steel this evening, and be there, while it is getting dark and after dark, or do you want to pick this up in the morning?
I think pick this up in the morning. Better to have daylight while navigating that building.
Nothing wrong with checking out a very dangerous, haunted place in the middle of the night.
Absolutely not.
So you guys can hole up here in your new house in Jolston, and
Beautiful.
My better homes and gardens.
yeah.
Chad is going to put the note into the fanny pack under everything else when he sets up the bottle of water, by the way. Doesn't want it falling out of his pocket.
Okay.
And he's gonna be, when he sleeps, he's gonna be literally like cradling the fanny pack.
All right.
After what happened last time where something somehow fell out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Roman notices that.
Oh yeah. Seems fair.
So I imagine it is for this group, a relatively quiet, somewhat awkward, somewhat tense evening that you guys share. Find yourselves off to sleep. Nobody sleeps particularly well because you're in Jolston, and the accommodations are only as such. But you can wake up in the morning as the sun pokes its way through the boards on the window. and the day is yours. Is there anything you would like to do while here in Jolston? Get more info, scrounge around for useful things, talk amongst yourselves, or should we jump to the steel?
I have my tire iron.
You do.
We'll travel.
It's it's definitely picked up quite a bit of rust since you initially pulled it out of the Porsche, but it's still there.
Brand new
Yeah.
tire iron.
So is the Porsche.
True.
I think we're good to head straight there.
I mean, yeah, grab something to eat, but
Sure.
we don't have to focus on that. It's just like we eat
Right.
something and then we go.
Yeah.
All
End
right.
zone.
You do your human things as all characters in TTRPG actual play shows do. And you can walk your way out of Jolston and up to the steel.
Fucking hot today, bro.
It is. It is quite hot today. Not as much smoke in the air as you walk out of town. You don't see any more of these smoky, ghostly apparitions. So you make it out of town, following the road, following the rail lines, up until you crest over and look down into the sprawling facility that is Jolston Steelworks. And you notice something immediately that you didn't notice previously. And fortunately, it's relatively early in the morning. Sun's shining down brightly. It's a relatively clear sky. It's kind of overcast, but not in a it's going to rain soon kind of way. It's just kind of smoggy. But the light that does filter through this sort of almost ever-present cloud of smog and soot and smoke, the light shines through that and seems to catch and glitter on objects placed throughout the steel, this whole campus. You can see all over the place, mostly towards the center, around that center building, but sprawled out a little bit, with even a few outliers further beyond, towards the edges. You can see these sort of kind of lumpy pillars that look like they're gleaming, like they're gold. These sort of 5-6 foot tall, sort of lumpy pillars that are just sticking up out of the ground. That seem to be made of gold and glittering in the light that does pierce through. There's quite a lot of them sort of centered around the blast furnace, the central BOF mill, the basic oxygen furnace, and they get more and more spaced out as you move away from that sort of center of the facility. But there are a few that are even, further towards the edges. They were definitely not there before. Not that you remember seeing.
Well, that's new.
Yeah.
Real fucked up.
I'm gonna go look.
All right. You can start making your way down into the steel. You follow much the same trajectory you took the first time, moving in through the rail yard. There's the building you've already looked for, the sort of rail yard intake processing center that you looked through already, which does lead more towards the center of this facility. And let me bring this up. You don't notice any out here by the rail yard, but you move further into the campus and you come across one of these things. closer to the coke works that you were at before. Like this is an area you were at not yesterday, but the day before, that you looked around. You inspected one of these furnaces. It blew up in Laura's face. You saw the charred skeletal remains of somebody that was there. But this time there is still all of that. But you see, standing about 5.5, 6 feet tall or so, this pillar of gold that has a vaguely, if you move to the other side and sort of look at it just as a silhouette against the sun, it does have a vaguely humanoid silhouette appearance. But it's this pillar of apparently solid gold. And there's one here. There's another one probably 30 yards, 30 meters down the way. And you can see as it gets closer and closer to the center, they get tighter and tighter packed.
I give it a little like prod with the tire iron, just a little
Okay.
like.
As you walk up to this thing, you start hearing whispers, sort of omnipresent, as you get close enough just to tink. And as you tap it with the tire iron, the whispers solidify in your mind, and you hear screaming and shouting of people, men screaming and shouting in fear. Run, fire, explosion, we have to get away, we have to rescue people. You can hear a whole bunch of conversation. It's not just one individual. You can hear people shouting over each other, screams about fires and explosions, people screaming to their colleagues or their friends, but it's all overlaid on top of each other in a very sort of Borg-like collective consciousness. It's so hard to pick out any one individual voice, but you know that there are dozens of people here screaming in fear and pain, calling out for each other. And it's just in that tap, you go tink, and as soon as you pull away, all of that goes back to whispers. I would like you to make a stress test now.
What would you like me to test?
Because that sounds particularly stressful to me.
I don't love it. Do it.
Let's see. I'm thinking cowardice or even repulsion. Both of your stats in those are pretty good.
Yeah.
It's whether this is more fear from the circumstance or more being moved by hearing exactly what these people are going through. Of course, we're talking about Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the second. I would like to roll the second thing. I would like to roll the repulsion. Is it a hard check? Medium check? Oh, medium. It's a stress check.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're gonna go repulsion. Interesting. All right. You need a 3 or higher.
I didn't.
You did
I got
not.
4, 2, 1.
All right.
You have willpower?
Meets does not beats.
That is correct. Meets does not beats. Now you could
I could use
you could spend a willpower to be able to re-roll all 3 of those dice if you would like to.
Oh.
I feel like that willpower is going to very soon start disappearing in large quantities.
Yeah. But on the other hand, your stress level increasing is one of those things you do not want occurring.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Because any other check I wouldn't, but I think I will.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, as your stress increases, you get fewer and fewer dice per willpower spent. So the question that's a common question in Locus. Do I spend my willpower to re-roll a stress check, knowing that if I fail, it's harder to re-roll? So expend one of your willpower and feel free to re-roll all 3 of those dice.
Don't reroll the 6.
F. Where's my dice? Here it is.
Oh no.
I found it. No, we're good. My middle was a 4 this time.
Excellent. All right.
I think Laura has like a brief moment where like tears well up, and she is just completely kind of overwhelmed by this secondhand fear. And she manages to just like take a deep breath, blink them back. This isn't real. It's not currently happening. And just back to our usual pragmatic Laura.
All right. Now, stress and gaining cards are two separate features in Locus, and they do overlap on quite a number of occasions, and this is one. So during a particularly stressful situation, I may ask you for a stress check, as we just did, but where that is a test that you can simply pass. As far as cards, you accumulate cards when the weight of the world in your actions weighs on your character. So this could be anything from experiencing a jarring situation like this, or willfully acting in accordance with your own vice, which hasn't come up in such an extreme yet. Yet, exactly, yet. But I'm going to give you a new card for that. You don't get any more stressed. But you do get a new card.
You also get a new card like every real time hour.
Every real time hour, which we are coming up on.
That is the GM's job to keep track of.
Yep.
Lion, it is
We
not
are.
ours.
Oh, no, I had it on the radar.
Why would you do that?
Chaos!
That is a 6 of diamonds for you, Laura.
Diamond.
That's another neutral card. You're going to have to hold on to that.
Spade, please.
Yep. And you know what? Because we are pretty much at that time, I did have it on my radar. You can't blame Lion for this. But since we're handing out cards already, I'm going to give each of you yet another card.
Okay, if this one's not a spade, I'm going to be mad at Lion.
All right. Well,
Valid.
let's start
I'll
there
take it.
then. It's club.
No, that's the worst one.
That's even worse. That is a new haunt card for you, Laura.
You're
I'm
welcome.
so mad at you.
So, in penance for Lion, he gets a 2 of hearts, which is also a haunt
that's my
card.
haunt card.
There you go.
Twinsies.
And JD, Roman, you get a jack of clubs. Where are
That
we
is a
here?
neutral.
That is a neutral. Excellent. All right, so we are averaging 6 cards in hand for our group. Good to
Oh,
know.
we have so
Good to
many
know.
cards.
Oh, this is unfortunate.
This is
Love
not
it.
great.
What do you mean? This is perfect.
I'm trying so hard.
As the average hand size increases, the deeper you get in the Malice Locus. For the audience, they are now stuck in level 2 out of a maximum of 4 that I said.
Just
And
not so
4
bad,
is
we're only
real bad.
halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're only halfway. It's fine. It's fine.
All right.
So fine. Bottom
It's
S.
so fine. Yeah.
So all of this was the mechanics behind a very brief, terrifying exposure that that Laura just had, tapping on this golden person silhouette thing.
Laura, you okay?
What? Oh, these things are making noises. And it's fucked up. It's fucked up, Chad.
It is fucked up. This whole place is fucked up.
This entire place is fucked up. Do
Laura,
you hear
what-
the noises?
What kind of noises are you talking about?
Oh, you
Are
know,
we-
ominous whispers, screams for help.
The fucking ghosts, bro.
Are we sure it's not just them vibrating at a certain frequency? There's a lot of metal around here.
Does metal just normally vibrate? I'm sorry, no, genuine question. I'm not an engineering student.
I'm not either.
I'm a
It was
doctor.
just a question.
Yeah, yeah. I hate it. I hate it. Did any of you guys hear that?
I didn't hear nothing, but
I
Cool.
didn't hear anything.
Cool.
it's probably
great.
the fucking ghosts.
It's probably the fucking ghosts.
Do you two approach along with her, tap prod at it at all, or are you hanging back?
Not tap at it, but I will approach it.
Yeah.
As the both of you do approach the thing, you do again you start to hear those whispers. They don't solidify into anything, since you're not messing with it, but as you get closer, there's a fire, everybody run.
Chad's gonna just sort of like whip around, look around, like hands clenched into fists.
There's nothing to fight right now, Chad. Save your energy.
Yeah, you're right.
Laura does the
Fucking ghosts.
mathematics implied by the Chad.
Mm-hmm.
She just makes her math face. She has
Mhm.
resting math face because she's always calculating.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck this place.
Well, the only way out is through, as they say. Let's continue onward.
Yeah.
So where are you going?
I think Roman wants to go towards the area that on the map was burned.
The BOF.
Because that's the one area that he doesn't have a clear sense of and feels like that's an important place to start, to at least rule it out, if nothing else.
Right. Yeah, so you can think back to that map. And yeah, that was centered pretty much around the basic oxygen furnace mill, which is an expansive building. But towards the center of that building, you could see even on the map, there was like a corner still left of the BOF mill that hadn't been burned off. But it looks like the center of that burn on the map was right by where the BOF sits next to the blast furnace, which also coincidentally seems to be where these golden pillars are thickest.
Yeah, I
Laura,
do not
you
like-
said that the whispering changed when you touched the pillar.
Yeah. Into screaming, you know.
Well, then let's make sure we don't touch any of these as we approach.
Yeah. Chad, hun, this might not be the greatest time to fight them.
I'm not looking to fight the pillars, Laura. This is fucked up right here. Just fuck, bro. These things are
know.
everywhere. Fuck.
Yeah. Fuck. You're right.
All right, so you guys can make your way closer towards the center of the steel. So you move past this long line of coke ovens, and these are probably a good 3 or 4 stories tall. It's real tall, real long, but not terribly wide building of externally loading coke ovens that probably stretch for 300-400 yards. It is a large building. There are different I think I'm using the correct word, different gantries that bridge the top of the coke ovens with the BOF, so that you can quickly get all of the metallurgical coke from there over into the furnace cauldrons of the main steel mill. There's a number of those large cooling towers back behind there to help dissipate heat and smoke. All kinds of different outbuildings and loading stations and slag collection and slag offloading. Making your way further into the facility, You do see a number of these very long factory warehouses that do have windows are all broken out. The sheet metal sidings are entirely rusted, down to the point where you can really see that the steel skeletons that make up these buildings is really the only thing holding this place together, and precariously at that, given the amount of rust and wear that you've seen throughout this place. Uh, but I'm sure none of you are all that familiar with steelworks, so you probably could not point these out or talk about them in any meaningful way. But you do move past a number of these buildings for pouring molds into various shapes. You have to walk around a building that has an exposed that has a whole piece missing out of it from a fire, that has a whole series of rollers set up every few dozen or so feet. There's a number of rollers that get smaller and smaller and smaller that are used to thin down whole billets into various thicknesses of sheet. All kinds of other facilities that you pass before you get to the long line of the basic oxygen furnace mill. This is where scrap metal would be mixed in with the molten iron from the blast furnace, mixed together and cooked to make the steel itself. This is where the molten steel is created before it is moved in those cauldrons over to the molds and molding facility to be poured into various types of slabs and billets and blooms. Doing so, you do have to move past quite a number of these golden remains, or monuments, whatever they may be, golden silhouettes of the people who used to be here. And they do get dense enough that you have to walk through this field of whispers. You try to keep your distance from them as long as you can, but once you get to the BOF, there are these pillars probably every 10 feet or so. By the time you get out of the area of influence of one of them, there's the briefest of moments of silence before you again start hearing these whispers.
I think as they're traversing, every once in a while, Chad will just make a comment about the heat, or how with the soot and the smoke in the air, how it's kind of like burning the throat, like it's making the throat burn. Just every once in a while.
It is. You might not have noticed it if you weren't already complaining about it, but it is definitely getting hotter as you approach the BOF.
That makes sense.
Not to the point it was when you were trying to walk out of Jolston, but it's definitely hotter. Harder to breathe.
Are they like burning shit in here? Like, fuck. This is awful, bro.
And that's why we're trying to get in and get out as quickly as possible.
What are we looking for again? Like a safe, right? We're looking for like a safe.
Yeah.
We're looking for a safe, yes.
And somehow that's gonna let us leave, right? Like I'm not causing problems or anything. Like fuck it, whatever works, right? There are ghosts and shit. There could be a fucking safe that gets us out of here, man. But,
I agree. It makes no sense, Chandler. It makes no sense at all.
The sheriff said that like people from your dad's company have been here though, right?
That's what he said.
All right, so they've gotten out somehow.
Have they?
I mean, they haven't come back, right?
I would not want to make the assumption that they made it out, Chandler, especially if At least from what we've been told, Arcadia Incorporated has continued to send people.
Yes, I'm just trying to keep it optimistic. Cause like, fuck, man, this
No,
is a
you're right.
nightmare,
You're right. We should be considering all of the options, Chandler.
right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Thank you for catching me on that.
Yeah, bro, you know I got you. I gotta keep you regular, right? He like gives
Exactly.
him like a little arm shove.
Where would I be without you, Chandler?
Good ass question, bro. Where would any of us be without each other? Yeah.
All right, so moving around this building, which again, probably 5 stories, 4 or 5 stories high, stretching on for hundreds of, probably 200-300 yards. Very big building. Moving around the exterior of this building, because at least this side is still more or less intact. Moving around towards the front of this building, you can see that there is these very large sort of hangar doors on it that are mostly open, and you can see inside. It is dark. There's all kinds of debris strewn about. But moving further along in front of the building, you can peek around the side, and you can see the bottom half of the blast furnace, which really does look. It almost looks cobbled together in a sort of Studio Ghibli sort of way, as blast furnaces do. But it is this hulking monstrosity of various tubes and scaffolding and cranes and conveyor belts and bridges and cooling towers and whatnot, with a very wide base, with a bit of a building, or at least protective coverings around, places to store the slag, places to store the coal and coke as it is moved in and out of this entire process before it comes together in a tower that is the top of the blast furnace. Except the top of the blast furnace was apparently blown apart, and you can see a large chunk of it now has slammed down and is now laying crushed down on the side of the BOF. So there is this big hole, this big crater, about a third of the way down the other side of the BOF mill, which is covered in debris, wood, sheet metal, full iron bars, plenty of rubble that is probably coal and or coke, and of course the rubble of the BOF itself. Very little wood or anything here. You don't really make steel mills out of wood too much. Very flammable, but there is metal rubble in various degrees of thickness and rust that seems to be all gathered up in this mound just in front of where the blast furnace collapsed into the BOF. And thinking about that, Roman, uh, vaguely, this area is the burnt out part of the map.
What is the gold statue situation looking like as we're kind of fully in this area?
Yeah, there's a gold statue every 10 feet or so. It's hard to spread your arms out and not be in danger of interacting with one. Uh, they do seem to get even denser around the base of the blast furnace, and right where that collapse is, there is there's another concentration of them. It actually seems that a number of these gold pillars, everywhere else, they're basically just sticking up out of the ground like traffic pillars. But there, it actually looks like those pillars have been they're sticking out of the rubble.
So I'm not sure this is something I could necessarily roll for, slash, I'm not sure how helpful the answer would be, but I think something that is going through Roman's mind is he's trying to put the different pieces of information that he has together. So he's trying to draw on his knowledge of business to think about where would something like a safe most likely be stored. But then he's also trying to consider if it were so obvious or easily accessible, why wouldn't the people who have come here have found it already? And so, if that is the case, where would it then be? Because if we have to start getting to a place of interacting with these golden pillars or being at increasingly high risk of that, he at least wants it to be for a good reason.
All right. Well, what's everyone doing? And again, feel free to ask about the environment or introduce things.
And I will say, I think Roman does say most of that out loud. Like, so he's putting that on the table.
I mean, Chad will look around. He's not going to stray off again like last time. But yeah, Chad is going to look around, keep an eye out, see if he notices maybe an office or something like that. That would probably make the most sense in his mind.
Right. Yeah, Chad, go ahead and make me. Let's see here. What would be investigating about attentiveness?
Carelessness,
I
maybe?
was leaning towards carelessness. Yeah. Yeah, because this isn't necessarily trying to suss anything out. You're not logically looking. It's not a reasoning thing so much. That would go with ignorance as much as it is just being aware of your surrounding and poking and prodding at different things. So yeah, we're gonna go carelessness.
Easy, medium, or hard. Not that it's gonna go well regardless.
Right. I think we'll stick with the default of medium. Yeah. So
Well, that is a 4-2-2. So I don't think I'm going to spend any willpower on that either. This feels very in line with Chad. Yeah. So I'm failing this one.
all right. Okay. Now, something else to point out as far as the demo play. Locus does, in the book, it does, what's the word I'm looking for? Encourage. It does encourage failing forward, or failing or succeeding at a cost. And I think that's what we're going to do here because it keeps the story moving forward in a meaningful way and allows me to up the stakes a bit. And I assume everybody is sort of sharing in this activity, looking around to some degree of things. It may be playing a little mental chess in your head of your own concerns and your own thoughts, but everyone's looking around more or less. And you can sort of gather closer to where this collapse initially occurred, sort of the epicenter of the disaster and seemingly the epicenter of this golden pillar problem. You do see, sticking out of the ground, actually embedded in the concrete ground of this entire campus, This whole sprawling area is very thick, if cracked and pitted. Concrete. There's no grass or anything. Everything is it's a very solid surface. Sticking out of that in this area is the bottom of support structures for what looks like a smaller building, either built directly to the side of the BOF or just away from the BOF. But the support structures of another small building there. You can also see in the rubble what looks like a few corners of desks, maybe a filing cabinet. Parts of a stairway there. That is all mixed in with the general rubble of the blast furnace and parts of the BOF. In fact, not too far into the building, as you look through this large hole in the side, you can see there is one of those cauldrons that has fallen, cracked at the base where it has fallen, and there seems to be even more rubble and solidified iron steel that has sort of fused the cauldron with the concrete of the ground. So this looks like there's evidence here that there was more to this particular impact site than just the blast furnace and the BOF. There looks like there was some sort of administrative area in here. Chad, you start picking up on that, and you begin moving through the area. I'm assuming everybody is split up a little bit. You're not, going all over the place, but you're all looking around in your particular area. Chad, you do find your way closer to where the cauldron has fallen. You want to get around this heap of rubble and solidified steel that seems to be here, just to see if you can figure out what happened. Maybe you're looking for the safe, maybe you're looking for a way in, whatever it may be. You start making your way around, and you see that smashed up cauldron over to the side. And it does catch your eye because it does look like there's a lumpiness to it in there. It looks like the cauldron was in use at the time, and it collapsed, tilted over, cracked at the bottom, and had molten steel begin pouring out and eventually start to solidify. So you make your way over there, keeping a bit of a distance, but you see there's this lumpiness to where the steel has solidified. Towards the very end, there's a bit of lumpiness, and just beyond that, you see just the skeletal remains of a hand, and the very tip of the ulna radius before it is just cracked and charred. And again, you're looking at this cauldron, which has a mouth that is probably 4 or 5 feet wide. These things are massive and hold a huge quantity of molten steel that has now poured out across the ground. And as you're looking back and forth, trying to survey what happened, you can see where it detached from the crane system that moves throughout this facility. You can see where it detached from there. You kind of have this moment of piecing things together, not in too much detail unless you particularly want to roll for it, but you can kind of start putting this together. The blast furnace went off, it sent the top of that down into whatever's happening here. That seems to be the rubble there is the epicenter of all of that. There might have been some sort of administrative office in there, and then it caught fire, there were explosions. This also came down, probably had something to do with the impact, jostled it loose or whatnot. This came down, and you can see as you are piecing this together, all of these golden pillars are probably associated with people that died in this instance. And then you see that hand, and you just have this moment of, there's a dead person there, and I know how he died, and all that is left is this. You nod to yourself. This place is fucked up. You've admitted this to yourself and everybody else at this point. That's not what you're looking for. It's creepy as hell, but we're gonna move on. Center yourself, you turn around, and in front of you is a floating iron slab with a face. I should say steel, not iron. This floating iron slab with just a face of metal, but a face sticking out the front of it. It's probably about 2 feet in width, probably about 5.5, 6 feet tall, but only a few inches thick. That is just you initially turn around. It's creepy as hell. You startle, and then you startle even more as you realize that it is floating a good foot off the ground.
Yeah, I think for Chad, he's kind of like looking up, and in his head he's kind of piecing together the basic breakdown of how this all went down. Chad's still not the smartest boy, so there's a lot of gaps, but the basic gist of it. And he's like, man, this is so fucked up. And then he turns, and when he finds himself face to face with it, I think as he starts, he just very loudly just screams, "Fuck, bro!"
Jeez.
I need you to make me.
Oh yeah.
I need you to make me a clumsiness check, and this will be a contested check against the Death Ingots attack.
Okay. Cool.
Also, I am going to just to make sure we get all of this in order.
By monsters?
Someone's being attacked by something monstrous.
Being attacked by steel.
Yes. So, a number of things mechanically and narratively are going to happen right now. First of all, Chad, you did technically fail your test for looking about. So that increases your stress.
Yep, I'm up to tense.
All right. Actually, that is a stress check. It's not an automatic failure. It is a stress test. So this is a new test for you to make. Probably, I'm actually going to say in patience. I think
that's what I was
really
going to
works.
suggest too. Yeah, I'm so down for that. Yeah. He's looking around, not finding shit, and he's like, "Man, fuck this anyway. Why are we fucking doing this?"
Which is not a good one for you.
Oh, it's perfect. I don't know what you're talking about. This is the dream. We're living the dream.
All right.
I'm going to spend a willpower.
Okay.
Reroll.
It is medium difficulty. That's the default for a stress test, and you have to get a 6. You have 5 dots in impatience. You need a 6. You need to roll 2 6s at least to get through this.
Yep. I have 1 6.
All right.
I'm not rerolling that 6, and I have the willpower to spend.
Yep.
Oh, please.
You get it?
It's 6, 6, 2.
Okay. You just needed the middle value. That is another 6. You do not get any more stressed from failing that. However, I then need you to make another stress test because you are face to face with a monster. This is actually our first obvious instance of an actual Malus Locus monster. So this is going to be, and I think we're going to call this cowardice. Yeah.
Yeah,
because this is straight up you turn around jump scare. There's this freaky metal faced steel slab.
I'm about to try.
This is a better check for you.
Up. Yeah, it is. This one we might not have to burn willpower on. We can pass this one. We can do this. Oh wait, one of my dice escaped. Hang on, I have backups. Oh, that's not good. Okay, this was cowardice though, right?
This is cowardice. You only need a 3 or higher.
5-2-2, which is not good.
All right, that's another fail, unless
I am going to spend another one of my willpower and go
all
down
right.
to 6 to re-roll, because all I need is 3.
We're chewing
if I can
through
get
it.
6 before. All right, 5, 4, 1.
You got it. All right, you maintain your composure as much as you need to as you turn your face to face with this. You shout out what you shouted, and as you get that out, you see the face. No sound comes from it, but it furrows
Sounds
and
better.
begins looks like it's shouting at you as well, and then very quickly just slams down towards you. So this is going to be an attack by the monster here. So the way this is going to work, conflicts in Locus. We're finally getting to some actual conflict here. Attacks are always going to be contested between the attacking entity and the defending entity. Now, my monster, the Death Ingot, is going to be making its attack. So it has an attack value of 2. So I'm going to be rolling my 3d6 dice, and any result of a 3 or higher is a success towards my pool. Now, Chad, you're going to want to this thing very specifically weighs. If it was anyone else, I would not give this option. But I'm going to say for you, it'll be either clumsiness or frailty, because you may just be strong enough to just push it back enough that you push it away before it slams down on you. But this is heavier than a full-grown adult.
Yeah, I can definitely go with frailty. I also have weightlifting as my specialty. I don't know if that will play a factor here. Specifically lifting heavy things up potentially for extended periods of time.
I'm going to say no, because this is something that is supernaturally pushing momentum down on you. Your weightlifting would make more sense for, like, if you wanted to try to lift the cauldron or, you know, lift or move some large chunk of debris. But this is actually something that has momentum and intent.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Then yeah, I will definitely be using frailty.
Okay. Roll me 3d6 and consult your frailty, and I will do the same and consult the attack value on my monster.
You have a 1 in frailty. This is good. This is good.
You were best suited to come across this.
And it's for everything that is a 2 or higher, I have a success, right?
Correct. For you.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I have 3 successes. I rolled 6, 4, 2.
All right.
Wow.
Now, let me just double check, because I want to make sure you guys get bonuses for using particular weapons as weapons. So I want to just double check as far as enemies, if they always count as having weapons. We don't happen to have Steph or Ferne in chat, do we?
I don't think.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. Now I believe, because there are the only way to do particularly high levels of injuries is if a monster has a significant number of successes. It would be impossible to get higher than 3 successes without being counted as actually having a weapon. So I'm going to give this guy a +1 to his attack pool, because he is attacking with his own weapon himself.
Fair.
So he got 3 successes. You got
3 successes.
3 successes. Now for a, let's see here. For a contested check, the character with the higher tally wins the contested check. Tie goes to the defender in Locus. Tie goes to the defender, maintaining the status quo. Which is good, because this would have hurt. So this floating steel slab supernaturally slams down, and you are strong enough and quick enough to not hold it up, but it gets down to about 45-degree angle, and you crouch down, put your hands up, and sort of push yourself away from it. Less of a dexterous dodge, and more you are just using that momentum to push yourself backwards instead of down into the pavement. And this thing slams down with a deafening clang of heavy steel on concrete, and the shout that Chad made to the other two is drowned out by this clang. But you two definitely turn around and you see Chad there freaking out, sort of pushed back, half crouched over with this large slab of steel in front of him.
The fuck, you okay? Did it fall on you or something?
Everything all right, Chandler?
No, everything's not all right, bro. Do you? And he's gonna like point down, if it's still there on the ground.
It is.
And be like, it tried to fucking kill me, bro.
Well, we have to be careful in here. This is an unstable structure and things are falling.
I was being fucking careful, man. It had a face. It was trying to crush me, bro. It didn't fall.
If that's what you experience, Chandler, then I believe you.
I'm gonna give it a poke with the tire iron.
Chad literally like throws his weight backwards and like takes a big step back when actually no, he tenses like he's going to, but he doesn't.
Okay. Laura, you're just going up and ting ting?
Yeah, I'm giving it a little poke.
Yeah. Ting ting.
Okay. Well, regardless of what caused it to move, it seems to have stopped. It didn't get you at all? You're not knocked up by it?
No, I'm fine, but this place is trying to fucking kill us. Laura, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's our goal, Chandler. We need to find the safe, and then we are going to not just get out of here, we are going to get out of this town.
Yeah, you're right, Roman. Like always,
Yep.
you're right. We just gotta find it and get the fuck out. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's and he's gonna point in the general direction where I mean he kind of walked over, so they're nearby. He's like, it looks like there was some kind of like an office or like an administrative thing going on around here. Like, and he points to some of the things sticking out of the rubble. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna try and fucking crush us or whatever, but if someone was putting a safe here, that's where I'd fucking put it.
Okay.
Let's see what we can find.
So the lot of you see specifically as you congregate around this heap of rubble, and I do
Chad is
mean
keeping his eyes on that steel slab.
good to know. All right.
Same, to be honest. Same. Like,
Okay. Well,
I'm
if you're
not.
keeping your eye on the steel slab, you are not investigating the rubble.
Nope. I will
Which means
like
Roman is.
Okay.
yeah, I will follow as close to Roman as I can, walking in a way where I can keep my eyes on it, but I'm not taking my eyes off that slab.
Sure. All right.
I believe Chad. Like,
So Roman, you head closer to this heap of rubble, and I do mean heap. It is probably 20 feet in diameter, towering above you by several feet. And you can see there's a bunch of debris sticking out all over the place. But as you get closer, you can see that there is this sort of bubble shell of steel that all of this stuff is sticking out of. And as you're moving around, you see, as I described before, edges of desks and cabinets and parts of a staircase sticking out. But as you move around and see all of these things, you trip over something. Not enough for you to face plant again and cause any damage, but you stumble over something and you look down and you see a bone. Large bone, probably a femur or something.
oh,
And as you stumble and get yourself righted, you look back down and you tripped over the leg of a much more together skeleton. In fact, this still has the gaunt remains of flesh, clothes that are torn up and burned and covered, but the skeleton is not otherwise charred or disintegrated, or it doesn't look in the same line as all of the others that you've seen before, which makes sense as you look over and sort of in between two of these exposed ribs sort of caught on it, you see a pin of the Arcadia Inc. logo. And you look up above that, and you see the skull is just entirely crushed.
I would once again voluntarily like to offer to make a stress test in this
Yes.
case.
If you didn't volunteer, I was going to make you. Well, what does this sound like to you? Cowardice?
I think cowardice, yeah.
All right, medium check. You need a 4 or higher on the middle value.
I am going to re-roll. You burn a willpower to re-roll.
All right, we're eating through that willpower.
Had to happen eventually.
And that is good, because that is a 5, a 6, and a 6.
Okay, very good. You maintain your composure. You do not get any more stressed. I'm going to forgo a card at this point, but we'll see where things go from here. So you see the skeletal remains of one of the previous company people sent here.
And what I am going to say there is that for Roman, it wasn't the sight of a body that could have unnerved him. I don't know if Roman has enough regard for the lives of others for that to be a factor. And so seeing that, there wasn't any indication that this could unnerve him until the moment where he saw the pin and registered, my suspicion was right. These people never did make it out of here. They've just been sent here again and again to die. And that panic starts to bubble up. And then he's able to remind himself, I am smarter and more capable than these people, and that will not happen to me. And that is how he makes it through that stress check.
Okay. You see that and you stare at that for a few beats, trying to keep yourself composed. And you do. And then lifting up out of the skeleton is a spectral figure that sort of Dracula style just stands straight. A sort of ghostly, smoky apparition that just lifts up vertically as if on a hinge. Doesn't seem to regard you at all. You are initially taken aback, I'm sure. Step back on your back foot, turn around to the others, and before you can get a word out, you see there are 2 other ghostly figures here, all dressed in fine suits. One of them has a very thin briefcase with them. And you can see, while everything else is sort of wispy, the pins on each of them of the Arcadia symbol are clear as day and almost gleaming that same gold color as the pillars that are about. And it looks like they're having a conversation with each other. They're not even paying attention to you or their surroundings or anybody else. They seem to be having a silent conversation with each other.
I would like. So Roman sees all of this, and there is another moment where that panic starts to well up when that figure rises and that startles him. And in his mind, he goes, I don't know what to do about a ghost, and is starting to panic until he realizes that the ghosts are ignoring him. But then, thinking to what Laura said about the golden pillar, I think Roman wants to touch the ghost that is closest to him and see if he can hear the conversation.
Okay. What are you other two doing? You said you were specifically making sure to keep an eye on the slab.
Yeah, I think at this point Laura's like, okay, it's not moving. It has stopped moving.
For now, we don't know if it's going to start moving again. Look, I know that if this shit tries to crush me again, I'll be fine. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about y'all.
Yeah? No, Chad, I absolutely believe you. This is not a you're going crazy conversation. This is a I think we're good conversation.
I don't know. I don't fucking trust it, bro. And I'm not willing to gamble with you or Roman over that shit.
Yeah. Okay. So what, we stand guard while he's poking around in there?
Why don't you go see if everything's good, and I'll stay here and keep an eye on this thing. And if you need me, you just call for me. You know,
Yeah.
I'll be right here.
Because I just don't want you to get stuck someplace again.
Well, if any of us are gonna get stuck someplace, right?
I don't follow. Anyway, I'm gonna go see if Roman's okay. See if I can get him to kind of stick close.
I have a question, Jack.
Yes.
Considering this, does this count as acting within my virtue enough for me to potentially be able to discard a card? It's not really
pitch that to me. How do you
sure,
mean?
it's not really me sacrificing anything or losing anything. Why I'm not entirely sure. But knowing that we're here looking for something, knowing that we're doing the things we're doing, and with the sort of what's the word I'm looking for here? The slight bit of tension that Chad currently has towards specifically Roman, to still be like, I know I'm good if this thing gets back up. I got past it once. I can probably do it again. But I'm gonna stand here and watch guard for them anyway. I'm very torn on it. I don't know if it's enough for it to count as something.
If this was still an actively, obviously dangerous position that you were self-sacrificing,
Right.
sure, I would say yes. But right now, it is
Yeah, it doesn't feel
inanimate.
Like it, right?
So I'm gonna say no for right now. But if that changes, remind me.
Yeah, not a problem.
So I don't get to claim that saying I believe you was an act of compassion.
No. You're gonna have to work harder than
if
that.
If you don't believe me, that's on you.
Listen, that was extremely nice by Laura's stand.
Sure.
True, but yeah, no, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm gonna go into the room and check up on Roman.
Yeah, well, again, there's really no walls separating any of you. It's just where your attention is focused. It's not a
Okay, so
separate
yeah.
room or anything.
Okay, so I'm gonna
But
turn around then
yeah.
and kind of close the gap with Roman because I
Right.
imagine Roman's at least a couple paces ahead of
Yeah,
the two
Roman's
of
sort
us.
of gone around the
The
curvature of this debris.
Gotcha.
So everyone's still more or less within eyesight, but you do have to maneuver around a little bit. So you do approach just in time to see Roman move forward and reach out into this. You see it. There are three ghostly figures standing, floating a couple inches off the ground, dressed in fine suits. One has a briefcase, and they all three have a symbol of Roman's father's company that you all know at this point. Just in time to see Roman reach a hand out towards the chest of this thing and push right through it, and then Roman goes stiff. Just straight, everything locks up. Roman,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Well,
you don't feel that. You don't feel the tensing yourself. You just put your hand into this ghost and you can immediately hear this conversation. None of the eyes move to meet you, nobody regards you in any way, but the sound does crystallize for you. Uh, the sort of the whistling of the wind through the facility and the rustling of chains deeper back, the footsteps on concrete of your two friends, that all sorts of fades away, and you can just you can hear some of that muffled in the background, but you do hear these three individuals talking. It's difficult to make out too much distinction between the three, but you can hear them arguing with each other. Why is this even necessary at this point? Why do they keep sending people? If this was going to be a problem, it would have been a problem already. Let's leave what's dead and buried, dead and buried. Another one pipes up. This is why we get paid the big bucks. We are tiers above the last people who were sent. We are better and smarter and more capable of them than them. We can handle this. You just need to keep your shit together. Okay. Fine. You can hear tension rising between these voices, and I'm paraphrasing. There's a larger conversation that is getting tenser and tenser. Fine. This is the site of the supervisor's office. It's got to be here. How do we get through all this crap? It's a steel bubble. Another one pipes up. We could dig under it, maybe. Try to unbury it. Maybe reheat it. I don't know enough about steel. And there's back and forth between them all. You can pick out points in the conversation where it veers away from talking about the objective at hand, and everything gets quieter, like a whisper, like it's muffled. You can only hear the din of it, but they do bring up something else, something that is not related to the steel and to the safe and to the office here and getting through this steel bubble of debris here. And when those conversations drop to an inaudible but obviously tense discussion, they do seem to get angrier and angrier. You can see, and Laura, you can see this as well, the ghosts sort of, one of them stiffens, another one steps on his back foot, the other one starts moving emphatically, like they're arguing, and then one straight up punches the other guy. There is a brief scuffle. Again, all of this while Roman is just standing there, stiff, all in only a few moments, before the two of them that are sort of in this tussle together, the other one whispering something inaudible to the other two. You can see the three of their heads turn, their mouths drop, their eyes go wide, and then all three of you hear three piercing screams. As piercing as three grown men screaming can be, they look like they have seen something terrified. They shout. They begin running. The two that were fighting managed to take a few steps and then dissipate, but the one that was already a couple meters off to the other side, trying to, you're not really sure, get them back on topic, whatever it may have been. You can see something, he moves forward, stops, his arms thrown back to the side. You don't see anything interacting with this ghost, but it lifts up off the ground. And then this ghostly figure slams back down into the skeletal remains. And Chad, you're going to roll me an initiative real quick.
Okay. How do we do that?
So initiative in Locus, you are going to roll your 3d6 dice, add the total together. We're not comparing that to any attributes or anything. Just roll the three values you get on 3d6 together, and then subtract your carelessness rating.
Oh, good. So that's 11 minus 4. So we are at 7.
Okay, you are not fast enough to react to this. You see this slab that you are standing guard over float up very quickly, just laterally. It doesn't flip back, standing straight, but floats up still parallel to the ground and begins swinging towards your shins. This is not going to be a frailty check because you can't just power through a steel slab to the shin. I'm going to need you to roll me a clumsiness.
Sure.
Which is still pretty good for you.
It is. We're far from doomed.
This is a
medium or hard?
This is another contested check because it is an attack. You're defending against its attack value. It didn't roll that good, actually. Actually, no.
Oh,
It has a pretty damn low attack
mean.
score.
Okay, so I have 3 successes again. Because I rolled 5, 3, 3.
Okay. It has 4 successes.
That's bad.
Yes.
I can't get that many.
That is, however, only a net of 1 success. So, actual attack damage in Locus. If the attacker wins the contest by 1 point, it's a minor injury. By 2 or 3 points, it's a major injury, and 4 or higher net value would be a grievous injury. Again, that higher end requires a lot of successes to actually get. It is possible, but it's difficult, which is good because grievous injuries are terrible. So you do manage to eke away from an actual major injury. You push yourself backwards enough that just the one sharp corner of this slab as it spins sort of cuts into your shin. Not enough to actually impact the bone. Fortunately, you're bulky. You don't skip leg day. It's very important to be, properly well conditioned. But there is a long, relatively deep cut on your leg now. Probably should get stitches, but it's not a major injury. It's not going to apply any condition or penalty to you. But you do take 1 point towards your death's door tracker.
And Yeah, so Chad like opens his mouth to say something but isn't fast enough and starts spinning, and he like throws himself backwards, and it just slices through that part of his leg.
Mhm.
And so I assume everyone else would hear. Maybe not Roman. Roman is still maybe in Ghostville,
Well,
but fair. But Chad is just like, fuck.
it slashes into your leg. You stumble backwards. It continues its spin through the air, flying straight towards Roman, lifting in elevation as it does until it rights itself back up perpendicular, uh, facing towards Roman, who is still, in his stiffened, not paying attention state, and looks like it is getting ready to come down and crush him.
If possible, Chad is going to take off in that direction.
All right.
To try and pull Roman and Laura out of the way of this thing. If it's like clear that it's going after Roman, he's going to do his damnedest to try and pull Roman away. But if it's not clear and it's just moving in their direction, he's going to try very hard to get there first to get both of them like out of the way.
Okay. The other two of you weren't paying attention to the slab at that point, so I didn't ask for initiative then, but I will let you roll initiative now to see if you can act.
You watch
before
your mouth.
anything happens.
He's not. 3d6, add results, subtract entity's clumsiness.
Yes.
So my results are 14, baby.
Oh, nice.
Mine are not that great. I'm doing math in my head right now.
Math?
That's going to be a 4.
Uh-oh.
Which I think tracks.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, 14 was what I had on the dice. I don't remember what the entity's clumsiness is.
It's your clumsiness. You subtract your clumsiness.
Oh, then 13.
Okay. It got a 12, so you still act before it.
Cool.
Yeah, so you can see Chad rushing over in your direction. You do turn and regard this quickly enough to see, just at the point where it has righted itself, you can actually see now that steel face looking straight down at Roman, screaming, who is still stiff and immobilized. I'll leave it to the two of you. Well, I mean, Laura, you would go before Chad in initiative. So how do you react?
Oh, geez. This is, on one hand, I try to hit it in the eye. I was going to say on one hand, Laura has a cowardice of 1.
Mm-hmm.
She's not afraid of shit.
This is floating up in the air several feet off the ground at this point.
So it's not eye-poking with the tire iron range?
You could get close to it and kind of jab up at it, I'd say. Yeah, but you would put yourself in a precarious situation.
Dang it.
Also, let's have you roll a stress test first for actually coming face to face with a monster. Yep.
What am I rolling based on? My chicken shitty?
Yeah, I think this would just be the default is usually cowardice. Yeah. Which you are very good at.
Oh yeah, I'm good. 422. I'm golden.
Excellent. Yeah, you're fine.
Laura's not afraid of shit. Okay, so I can't really elegantly I have a tire iron.
Mm-hmm.
Chad is on the way to do a brave rescue. Roman is in the ghost zone. Dead to the world. Okay. I'm trying to think of what is a smart thing to do. Hit it. Like, never mind. I don't know. Laura also has a temper of 5. I think that genuinely her instinct is violence, and it doesn't matter if it's a monster or not.
Now, I will say this is clearly a supernatural monster as opposed
Yeah.
to the dogs that you shouted at before.
Yeah,
But
that's
it
what
is
I'm yelling at.
it is also a 300-pound solid steel iron slab, and you have
A tire iron.
a tire iron. This thing has a ridiculously low resist score. Low is good because it is a solid slab of iron. You can attempt to smack it with your tire iron, but steel usually beats iron.
So I think instead, it's very heavy. That probably won't work. Okay, what's in the pile? What is the pile? Does anything immediately interesting or useful pop out to me from the pile?
So the pile really is you and Roman had a little bit of time to survey this before shit hit the fan. You can see that it really is this bubble, this dome of cooled steel with things sticking out of it. You are not going to be able to wrest anything easily out of that pile because it is literally melted into this bubble. But there's all kinds of sharp bits sticking out of it, sure. Given time, you might be able to wrench something apart, but nothing in the next 6 seconds.
Okay, here's what I would like to try to do. I do not know if this is going to work.
I will also remind players and audience thematically, this is a horror game where you play normal people, and these are big, scary monsters. So options as far as fight, flee, or otherwise deal with, fight is usually lower on the list.
Yeah. Are you telling me not to resort to violence?
It's up to you. It's up to you.
Okay.
Do what your character would do. But again, supernatural steel slab with a face on it.
Yeah, just swing at it. It's fine.
I mean, this is Laura. I
Yeah.
feel like out of all of
Yeah.
us, Laura is the most likely one to commit
Resort to violence? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she
Yep.
really is.
Yeah. I think it might even. You know what? No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's focusing on Roman, and now I need to decide whether I'm going to be good or whether I'm going to be Laura. Just fucking let it. Nah, he's in arm's reach. I'm going to grab Roman and wrench him out of the path of this thing. And hopefully what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the two of us, ideally, so that we can, like, hide behind this massive pile of melted steel. And, like, put it between... put the steel between us and the monster. If he doesn't move, I move without him.
Well, you lunge forward and grab onto Roman's shirt, heavily creasing his fine business casual button
we'll talk
down.
about that later.
But as you grab him, you Chad, you can see Laura also goes stiff very quickly. And Laura and Roman, you can see the briefest end of what happened here previously. You can see that ghostly entity slam down to the ground, and it actually solidifies in your vision now. Pieces of the puzzle have been put together now that two different perspectives have seen this, and that it is happening apparently again. You can see this suit before laying on the ground, and you see another sort of spectral entity of this slab, sort of see-through and ghostly, all except for the face, which is very clearly human and golden in the ghostly image, float over and just slam down on the skull of this individual.
Oh.
But it looks like something was holding it. And Roman, you saw this before. It looks like something grabbed him from behind, lifted him up, and slammed it on the ground. Neither of you see anything interacting with this individual in that way. It's just laying on the ground, and then it gets shield slammed down in the face and crumbles. And the vision fades at that point. And I am going to have... We're gonna kind of roll this together thematically. Well, Chad would get here sort of at the same time. So, Chad, let me ask you. Laura is going to try to help Roman get out of the way. Are you going to double down on that assistance, or seeing this, would you like to do something else?
Oh, 100%, except I am pretty... Chad would like to, building up momentum as he's running towards them, understanding he doesn't have time to stop and go, hey, we need to run. Chad's plan was, and I think continues to be after he sees Laura kind of freeze up, to more or less duck down and spear them onto his shoulders and keep running. So the hope is, in Chad's mind, that there will be enough momentum that even if when he makes shoulder to gut contact, he goes blank faced for a second, that momentum won't just stop dead and will pull him apart from the ghost and allow them to keep moving. Or at least get them past where this thing is about to slam down.
Okay. As you are coming towards these two, you do see, not quick enough for you to change your plans, but they come out of that stupor. The ghost is no longer there. It has been slammed down. Now that you saw that interaction, but a recognition, their form goes slack a little bit, and you get that recognition and fear in their eyes as they see what is about to happen, and then you collide with the two of them as the death ingot is making its trajectory to slam down on all three of you.
Jack, because I chose rescue instead of running away, can I pitch a card, please?
I would actually like to jump on this as well and point out that this is my virtue, and to remind you, as you had told me.
Yes, I did tell you to do that. I will say, Laura, this is acting according to somebody else's virtue, so you can pitch a neutral card. Chad, this is acting under your virtue of community. So I will let you get rid of a haunt card there. Yeah.
We are gonna get rid of the 9.
I was gonna say this might be a way notably opposing my haunt. Because the way that is in line with my haunt would be to throw him to the wolves and take advantage of the situation to leave.
That is true. That is true. Okay. Okay. Resist the urge to act in accordance with your haunt. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, so you can get rid of a haunt card as well. I'll go with that.
Yay!
Yeah.
No more clubs. That's not true. I still have the ace, but regardless.
Yeah,
So,
even as...
I learned my lesson because I touched Roman and got froze. So I was like, okay.
All
right,
only briefly. That was
yeah.
narrative time. You are all going to get to act now. So
I'm going for that classic scoop and swoop.
Yeah.
Grab
Yeah.
and run.
Laura, would you go with this? Would you allow Chad to just come up and sort of... Chad, you're not going to be able to do the Goliath with two gnomes sort of thing, because again, you're a regular person and they're not gnomes. But you can kind of football tackle them and kind of do like a double fireman's carry sort of thing for at least a few feet.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, is like shoulder into the gut, scoop the knees, stand out of it while moving forward just enough for this thing to come down, and then he'll put them down and try and find their way to safety.
I think I do. I think what I'd like to do is get under Chad's arm and then under this thing, like slide under it to the other side.
Okay.
I think Laura is small enough and very quick. This might be a possibility.
Yeah. And given the option, well, let me ask, actually, because I've introduced a lot of tension between this group. Given the option, Laura seems to be piecing out on her own. Are you just going to focus on Roman?
Sure. If Laura's got it, Laura's got it.
All right. That is going to reduce the difficulty of this check for you, because this is This is movement with an action, basically.
Mhm.
In conflict in Locus, you are allowed a certain amount of movement, usually about 15 feet before you need to start making rolls. If you want to just do movement and like sprint away, you get extra instances of movement per successes that you get. But when you want to act while moving, it is going to require a roll. Part of one of those successes, instead of getting further, is going to allow you to do things like lift, pull, push, that sort of thing. So, as far as movement rolls for this, Chad, you're going to roll 3d6 and compare each result with the relevant attribute. That is going to be your frailty. You're just full plowing through this. Yeah, we're gonna go frailty for this, actually. Now, this is, strangely enough, a contested check against no one. It acts as a contested check in the sense that you have to account for how many successes you have, as opposed to just looking at one of the three values. But it's not, nobody's actually rolling against you. I just need to know how many successes you get.
Not a problem.
So 3d6, and then just tell me how many roll over a 2 or higher.
I'm gonna, instead of that, I'm gonna spend a willpower, and I'm gonna re-roll these before I tell you what's on them, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna go down to five willpower, because that was real bad. Considering I have a frailty of 1. Can't happen twice, right? Okay, this is a 6-6-3.
Okay, that is 3 successes. All right.
Way better than my 1-1-2.
Yes.
I keep rolling these doubles. I don't know why.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you get your free 5 meters to clear from where you were over to Roman and the group. One of those 3 successes scoop Roman up. It would have been another success to also scoop Laura, but she's moving out, so you saved on that. So you can move up to 10 meters away. So you can really book it around the backside of this scrap heap steel bubble, if that's where you're going.
Absolutely. I'm gonna take half a moment as I'm like going around to peer back to make sure that like Laura's okay, but it's not like I can stop and go back for her at this point. Just to know if it's something I need to know about, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we're running. We're out.
Laura, because moving through the initiative, you're not necessarily dodging at this point. You are just moving away. You can use your free 5 meters just to get away. So you still have action to be able to do something if you want to roll to see if you can get further away, if you want to try to attack this thing, if you want to try to hide somewhere, anything else you might want to do.
So there's, as far as I could tell, nothing I could use to fight a slab of steel in here.
What would you want to fight a slab of steel in here?
Your heart.
I don't know what steel is or does.
Right.
Wait. The furnace. Oh no, the furnace fucked up and tried to burn me. It probably won't fuck up and try to... I don't know that it won't try to fuck up to burn the monster. But I do know that it has a big door.
Yes. Now that particular furnace, that was over in the Coke Works. That's several football fields away at this point. Not
but
several,
there was a
1 or
furnace
2
nearby.
Yes, there is the lines of actual BOF furnaces. Now, as far as you are aware, none of them are active currently. But they are. Let me just consult my fun pictures here. This one in particular. There's you are currently on ground level. There's up the next story up, there's a walkway which has access to a series of where the ovens open up. And they're these large, like room-sized ovens. So you would have to get up on that walkway and then open up one of those big oven doors, like bulkhead doors,
big
to
chunky
open up.
doors.
And then you wouldn't really be able to say what you would find inside as to
No
active,
idea.
inactive, probably inactive, unless the Malice Locus
But-
wants to, throw a fireball at you again.
But
But that
if
is certainly
we
an
put
option.
it in there and shut the big chunky door,
Yeah,
that's
that is
I
an
think
option.
where Laura's head is putting it in there and trying to shut the big chunky door. So I'm gonna try to get up to that walkway.
Okay. Do you want to do anything to particularly entice the death ingot to you? It does. You could see it was specifically looking at Roman. It's kind of heat of battle right now. You're not really sure. Do you want to do anything to specifically entice it towards you, or do you just want to book it up that way?
It would not be a smart idea to do that before I could get the door open.
Okay.
Okay, no, I think I should at least warn the boys that that's what I'm doing. So, like, let's try and get it in the furnace. I'll open the door. And I'm gonna scramble up toward the walkway.
All right. That is more movement than just your 5 feet, so I'm going to need you to make a movement check as well. This will be contested against your clumsiness.
I haven't got one. Well, I have one clumsiness.
Yes. So roll 3d6 and just tell me how many roll 2 or higher.
All 3.
Excellent. Yeah, that is up to 15 meters of movement. You can run over to there's a staircase. The bottom of the staircase is collapsed at this point. I'm gonna say one of those successes is getting up on top of that staircase, and another success is getting over to the furnace itself. And even with you did roll all 3 successes, I'll say you can use that last one to crank open the furnace door.
Okay. Is there any loose throwable object near where I am?
Yeah, there's debris lying all
Okay,
over the place.
okay.
I
mean, I did my thing.
Yeah, you'll have to
but
save that for next
I'm gonna-
action.
I'm strategizing, yeah.
Okay. Let's actually. I never like pausing mid-break or mid-combat, but we are due for a break. So let's go on a break, and we will resolve this when we get back. Hopefully we'll be able to take care of this quite quickly, and then we can move forward. But I wanted to make sure we definitely get a combat in this episode, because I think we were due for things really, really picking up.
Yeah.
So we are out of Jolston. We are out of the character definition moments. Not completely, but it's not exclusively character anymore. We are in the mystery of it. We are in the thick of it. We are in the danger of it right now. So we're going to go take about a 10-minute break or so. We'll be back in a little bit. Go get up, do your human things, and then, come back here and be ready to cheer these guys on as they try to trap their first Locus monster.
Cheer for us, we're heroes.
Yep. All right, we'll be back in just a little bit. Stay tuned. Hello, all you lovely people out there. We are back from our intermission. We are back for some more Iron, Coke, and Conscience, our Locus demo play miniseries. All right, so we left off mid-combat, or mid-conflict, because combat gives an association with actually being able to survive a fight with a monster in Malus Locus, which is usually not the case. But the conflict that our cast finds themselves in, we will now resolve. And we're actually going to pick up with Roman, because Roman has not gotten to act in this initiative yet. Roman, you snap out of this sort of ghostly vision that you had, and immediately find yourself looking down at the well-defined posterior muscles of your friend Chad as he bounds away from where you were.
For context, it is almost definitely the most physical that Chad has ever been with Roman. That was like a solid shoulder planted into your gut, maybe even like driving the air out of you, because I assume you didn't really have a lot of time to prep for it, and then just like whisked off your feet.
You know what? That is a good consideration. Our biggest, toughest member, body checking our what's a nice way to put this? Oh no, we lost someone.
Oh no!
No.
Hey, we're back.
Sorry. I'm good.
There we go. Anyway,
Okay.
Roman, roll me a frailty check. But because
Cool.
yeah, I'm gonna say this is an easy check. I'm gonna say this is an easy check. So your highest value needs to be above your
I got a 6.
That'll do. That'll do. Yes, so between Chad being able to position himself correctly not to injure you too badly, and you having enough wherewithal to roll with it, you are not injured. I was just going to give you a minor injury, just 1 tick on the death's door, but you avoided that, and you come to bouncing up and down, looking at Chad's well-defined butt. But you look up to see that this steel slab with a face, the face is looking directly at you, or at least was until you rounded the curve of the this pile of debris. Now, Chad has moved you this far. You could choose to, stay on the shoulder, or you could choose to get off. I will leave it to you what you want to do. But this thing seems intent on you. So you could move somewhere, perhaps up to Laura. You could hide somewhere. You can make a hide check to hide in the debris or somewhere else. You could book it on your own. Anything else you want to do?
And I would have heard Laura call down to us that her plan is to get this creature into one of the furnaces.
Yes.
Okay. I think in that case, Roman is going to not care in this exact moment if Chad puts him down and instead just say, Chandler, I need you to get me up to where Laura is, because he's putting several pieces together. He's noticing that this thing is focused on him, which means if we want to get it there, he probably needs to be there. And he's also thinking about what he just saw between those ghosts. And there is a part of him, the part that has taken all of these leadership courses, that is like, we probably have a better chance of getting out of here if we're working as a team. So if I can get this thing to follow me, and then we can get it into the furnace, that may go better for us than what I just saw happen to the people that had been sent by my father's organization.
Sure. All right. So aside from directing Chad, do you want to take any particular action on this initiative?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that is the only thing I would like is for Chandler to boost me up there.
That is going to bring us back around to the death ingot. However, Chad does not get to go before it does. So it is going to continue making its way around the bend. This thing isn't particularly bright, but you did not purposely choose to hide. And it rolled ridiculous, so it knows exactly where you are. And it floats probably a good 5 meters off the 3 meters off the ground. It's up there as it sort of swerves around the debris trailing Chad, and it does stop sort of at this 45-degree angle, looming over top of both of you, because Roman, you are still over the shoulder, and it is going to slam down. Now, how do I want to do this? Because it is gonna slam down on both of you. So I think what we're gonna do here is, Rowan, because you chose not to get off of Chad, Chad is your movement device, your mount. Yes, Chad is your mount at this point. Chad's going to take the brunt of having to deal with this. So yeah, Chad, I would like you. This isn't something you're gonna just be able to brute force through because you're having to support the weight of Roman there. This is going to have to be a clumsiness roll for you. But again, this is contested. So I will roll 3d6, you'll roll 3d6, we'll consult. However, I'm going to give you a -1 to your total successes because you're moving with Roman.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a 4, 5, and 6 on my end. That is 4 successes versus.
So I remember vaguely, and I don't have access to the book in the immediate.
Mhm.
Is there is like a critical success system in this?
If you roll 3 6s, it counts as a
Uh-huh.
critical success.
I rolled 3 6s.
Excellent. Okay. Okay. All right. So let me so that is 3 successes -1 because of Roman there, but it was a critical success. So on a critical success, you restore 3 willpower. So you get the main draw of a critical success is you gain 3 willpower. It doesn't really change the outcome or the total number of successes you get, but getting 3 willpower is pretty good. That's
Yeah.
At minimum 3 dice re-rolled, at max 9 over 3 checks. And you can discard a non-haunt card from your hand.
I will do that then.
So that is still 3 successes -1 for 2 versus its 4, which is a failure from you. Now, Roman, I'm going to give you the opportunity. You could choose to try to throw yourself off of Chad at this point and get away yourself. But that would be basically, you would be rolling the same thing with the same negative. Or you could just take it. Both of you will be hit for this attack coming through otherwise.
And you said it had 4 successes, right? So
It had
has
4, 2 net.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is going to be a major injury. I will say you can choose to roll off and make the check yourself, and I will refund Chad one of those that -1. So that would lessen the blow on him if you take the risk of it being a blow on you, or you could stay there and you'll both take a major injury.
I'm probably going to regret asking this question, but is there any way I could try to take the majority of the blow to protect Chad?
Hmm.
You could dismount and push Chad away. You would be rolling to move Chad out of the way, though, which means you are not rolling to defend, which means it would get 4 successes on you.
Is that still a major?
That would be grievous.
Grievous. Okay. Right, because that's 4 or
Yeah.
higher.
Yep.
Okay. Right. Okay.
I think I'm going to choose just to stay where I am and take it in that case,
Okay.
because I feel like even if it maybe distracted it / gave Chad more of an opportunity to defend himself, it feels like I would almost be leaving him at that moment if I dove off of him. And then I don't think I can push him out of the way, so that does not feel helpful
Yeah,
either.
that would be
So
a
I
tough
think
roll.
I'll just stay put and accept what fate has in store for me.
Okay. So that is going to be a major injury on both of you.
That's 3 damage? Or 3 death's door?
Yes, that is 3 marks on each of your death's door, and you are both going to take an injury. So on the back of your character sheet is a list for injuries and their associated severity, and a little section for inventory down at the bottom. So on the back of your character sheet, Over under severity, you can put major because this is a major injury. And what is this injury we want to make? Now, obviously, if a big slab of steel actually managed to get all the way down on you, you guys would be considerably crushed. So you are still dodging mostly out of the way. This is probably going to catch your shoulder in Chad's case, or the shoulder that Roman is on. So I think
I was going to suggest, if I may,
yeah.
exactly following that line of logic, maybe a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah.
For Chad at least.
So I'm gonna give Chad a dislocated shoulder, and I'm going to give Roman a cracked rib.
That sounds fair.
Yeah. So what these injuries do, now that we've finally had one, we've gone over how attack values work. So because it was a net positive of 2 successes on the attacker side, that's what made it a major injury. 2 or 3 net successes on an attack will be a major injury. We applied that. They both take 3 boxes off of their death's door, record the injury, and that is going to come with a mechanical penalty. While you have at least 1 major injury, no check may be rolled with an easy difficulty, unless you have a skill of some sort or an item that would bring it down. But it sets the default, the lowest you can have of any check you make going forward, is medium value at this point. Now, once we have this conflict resolved, we can talk about possibly treating injuries, which can lessen the severity of them. But we'll get to that later, because right now we have this steel slab that has just slammed down, dislocated Chad's shoulder, really bruised, and you hear a snap in your side, Roman, before you spin out of the way, and it again clang down on the concrete. Dust and debris scatters, but you do manage to stay on your feet and stay moving forward, or at least in whatever direction you would like. That is going to take us to Chad, and at this point, anywhere Chad you go, Roman goes with you.
Yeah. So it comes down, and there is that loud, like, yelping sound as it does, which is probably drowned out for the most part by the clanging of it, like, landing. And the shoulder that, Roman, you are on kind of goes slack a little bit. And I think there's a moment where you start to slip a bit, and you can see him sort of, like, he wraps the arm around you. And there is the tensing of all of the muscles in the area as he does. As Chad sort of grits his teeth and tries to push his way through this. It's probably not the first time he's had a dislocated shoulder, considering what he does.
Yeah.
But it is definitely one of the worst ones, if not the worst one. And with everything else going on, it's bad.
There's no pleasant way to dislocate your shoulder.
No, there is not. Cool. I've been there before. So sympathy to Chad. But Chad'll, as the thing goes down, Chad'll just kind of like cradle Roman, hold him in place, and is going to start looking around. I know Roman had told me that we needed to go up to where Laura was, so Chad is going to like look back around to make sure he knows where Laura is and try and see if there's somewhere, as he takes off, see how, like, what the best way to get to where Laura is.
Yeah, you can vaguely follow the line that Laura took, so you would have to move back around the debris, and there's a half-collapsed staircase there. Now, getting both you and Roman up that with an injured shoulder would be difficult. You could roll it, but it would be a hard test, or you could throw the halfling up the stairs.
Yeah, exactly.
I just told you to like get him up there, so
yeah,
you do not
Chad
have to follow.
Does not need to get up there. Chad just needs to get Roman up there. And that's exactly what he's going to try to do.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to run that way and try and throw the halfling up the stairs.
All right. So let's make this. This is just a general check in combat, and I think I'm going to roll this into movement. Generally, you'd get to that stairway with your normal default 5 meters or so. I'm not going to be too stingy on that. But let's go ahead and have you roll your 3d6 and compare that to your frailty.
Sure.
But I'm going to give you, again, a -1 because, in this instance, because of your dislocated shoulder. Normally that would increase the difficulty level, but because this is a contested check and difficulty doesn't matter, I'm just going to take away one of your successes.
Yeah, not a problem. Okay. That is 3 successes.
Excellent.
5, 5, 2. I keep rolling these doubles, and I'm waiting for the 1, 1, 1, which is inevitably going to happen at the worst possible time. But so I have 2 successes. I think I'm actually going to spend one of those willpowers to try to reroll and get that 1 extra success, since I am -1 success.
Yep.
So I'm going to spend 1 willpower to reroll that.
Okay.
And that is now a 3, so I have 3 successes. -1 is 2.
Okay. Just to make sure I'm tracking this properly, you have a frailty value of 1, right?
Yes.
And you rolled a 2, a 6, and a 6?
My goodness.
So you do not need to spend that willpower.
Clumsiness.
Unless...
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought
Sorry.
maybe you were
Thank
going
so
for the
much.
critical. Refund that willpower.
No,
You don't need it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about clumsiness, and I'm like, oh no, it's a 2. Well. Yeah, You're right. Okay, thank you so much.
Cool. So that's still 2 net successes there. That's enough for you to get over there and sort of heave Roman off of your shoulder. It's not far. It's painful for you, but you do. Roman, you sort of flop over. I don't know wrestling terms. Isn't that like suplex where you throw them over on their back?
Kind of, because you're not.
Yeah.
There's it's more like a it's kind of like a modified body slam because it's off the shoulder. A wrestling nerd.
Yeah, no, I will default to your judgment there.
Yeah, but I figure Chad kind of like throws him up, like kind of like slams him up, and then goes down. I don't think he like passes out or anything, but he drops to a knee because it's definitely an incredibly painful experience, and he's taking a moment and he's sort of like trying to hype himself back up. I think as he's running, Roman, if you're listening close enough, you'll be able to hear him kind of muttering the words to Tub Thump into himself.
I get knocked down.
But I get up again. You're not gonna keep me down.
Oh, he takes a lager drink. Oh.
He does. He does.
All right.
Incredible.
With that, Roman, you slam down on this this sort of elevated area. Not enough to take damage, but it's not pleasant. You can get up, brush yourself off. What would you like to do? You're within movement range of the furnace that Laura's holding open.
So what Roman is going to do, I think for the first time in Roman's life, he is running on pure adrenaline. He is not someone who is used to physical pain. And if this were not an imminently dangerous situation, he would probably be collapsing in on himself because, again, not used to this at all. But knowing that the death ingot is following behind, that it has its sights on him, and having just seen the damage it can do to that body and experiencing the damage it can do when it does not result in immediate death, he is moving as fast as he can, and as he goes, he is taking off his shirt. And he is hoping that what is attracting this thing to him is the emblem on the pocket. And so he is going to throw his shirt into the furnace.
Okay. Love it. Love it. So, fulfilling your contract to have your shirt removed at least once in this series, you bound forward, disrobe and chuck it down into the oxygen furnace here. I'm not going to call any of that an action per se, so I will leave it to you again if there is anything in particular you would like to do. Do you want to try to hide yourself to make it even more enticing to go after your shirt? Do you want to call out? You could choose to defend. There is always the defense option, which I should have pointed out earlier as well for other people. You can choose to take a defensive action, which will give you +1 on your successes on contested checks during attacks.
Roman is going to go for hiding, I think. And what, he will say is before he goes to hide, since Laura has the door to the furnace open, he's just going to say, do whatever you can so that it doesn't see you. Like if you can crouch down, make yourself smaller, do that. I'm hoping if it doesn't see me and only sees the shirt, he'll go in there.
Laura ducks behind the door
Yeah, yeah.
for optimal door shoving and also optimal disguised.
Excellent. Excellent.
And Roman will duck down kind of wherever he can that is out of sight.
All right. Now, Laura, I imagine you're going to want to basically hold your action to slam the door shut should it go in there, correct?
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right.
Yeah.
Now there's not technically really a hold your action in this game, but that's definitely something I will allow. And unless there is a reason for that to be a contested check, it will probably just happen if circumstances go that way. But both of you are hiding. So that's a good chance for us to take a look at the hide mechanics. So this is another contested check. You guys will roll your 3d6 and compare that to whichever makes the most sense, which is probably going to be... what would we do here? Probably clumsiness?
Could be clumsiness. Could be ignorance if
Or
they're, if they're not
ignorance,
smart
yeah.
enough to find a good place to hide.
Yeah.
I would like to make an argument for ignorance in that case.
I'll go
I
with
think
that.
Laura has a really obvious hiding spot behind the door.
Yeah.
So I would like to roll just like clumsiness for Laura.
All
if
right.
That's okay.
Yeah,
'cause-
clumsiness for Laura and ignorance for Roman. It's going to roll against its search stat, which it actually is not very good in.
Good.
I spent a willpower to re-roll one of those.
Excellent.
And so that is 3 successes.
I rolled 1, 2, 3, so I have 2 successes.
All right. It only got 1 success. So it tracks Roman. It sort of spins in air as if just floating on an invisible axis. Tracks you as you move over. You take your shirt off. We see the buttons sort of splinter as you just rip the shirt off, take it off real quick, and throw it down into the empty furnace before you sort of roll with it and scurry back towards this little nook behind a pipe between the two between these two furnaces, and we lose track of you there. We see Laura crouched down behind that door, and as the death ingot follows Roman, it floats over in your direction, and it does seem to spin around and take notice of your shirt as it goes down into the furnace, and it is going to float over to it, right itself up, and then slam down into the furnace. Both of you are very well hidden. Chad is out of the way and not really at center of attention. I'm not going to bother trying to make a check for this square peg to fit in this round hole. You set this up brilliantly. So it is just going to slam down on it. It sort of catches one of its corners on the rim of this circular opening. But Laura, I imagine you can just like kick at it, get it all the way in, and slam the door shut. Crank it, lock it, it's in. You hear this loud metal on metal. Tung, tung, tung. Then it goes quiet.
Oh, holy fuck. Okay. Oh, holy shit. Okay. Stay in there, you fuck. Holy shit. I do flip off the closed door. I don't know what else to do.
Roman, I'm gonna rely on your truthfulness. I don't remember if I gave you a card for looking at the monster the first time.
You did
Don't think
not.
I did.
Nope.
Nope.
Things were moving very quickly.
So I'm gonna give you a new card there. That is a 3 of clubs.
That is
That's a
another
neutral.
neutral suit.
All right.
I would also like to I would like to take a moment and say that I think this is an opportunity that Chad needs to roll a stress check.
All right.
The adrenaline is going to start wearing off from all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even though it's not like the first time he saw the monster and all that, but this whole situation was absolutely fucking terrifying, and he was consistently putting himself in harm's way. And I think that as the adrenaline starts to die out, and the fact that he's pretty sober at this point, there is that realization that sets in, and I think it merits a stress check.
So let me actually bring this up first, because both of you will need to make a stress test for taking damage, actually. Which is something
I should need to make 2.
Okay, you're going to opt for the second one. Excellent. So this was a major injury for you two, so this is going to be a medium difficulty stress test, as normal.
Okay. What is the injury stress check?
Yeah,
check
for injury,
I don't want to sound biased, but my immediate suggestion would be like frailty. Or even maybe temper.
Yeah, I'm thinking temper, because the frailty check was to, see if it hits and how much it hurts. The stress test afterwards is you processing that, processing the pain. So whether that's whether that's temper or cowardice.
I was actually thinking
even carelessness.
More for Roman.
But I just love when Roman rolls temper checks.
You know what? This might be a great time to roll a temper check.
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of interrupted from what he was doing,
and you just lost a very expensive shirt.
That's true too.
Expensive shirt. I don't like pain.
You had to get manhandled by Chad.
Yep.
Is that a negative? I guess
for Roman, but probably not.
I'm sorry, I actually just rolled 2 5s and a 6.
All right.
Okay.
That's a solid pass. Lion?
I rolled 2 6s and a 2.
Okay. Medium value is still above your whatever. Just for bookkeeping, what were you rolling? You were
temper for me.
Temper. All right. Yeah. So that was going to be a hard check, but you rolled a 6, so you're good.
And then I have a second.
And then your second stress test. Yes.
For this one, I wonder if it would be cowardice. Because again, it's all it could also be temper. Like I could see an argument for either, where it's like all of these things kind of, again, as that adrenaline is dying down, it's that like the oh shit that we're in, and like the all the fucked up things that are happening around us right now. I would make an argument for cowardice, because I feel like if his temper is already mitigated in this moment, then I feel like it would make more sense to then turn and look towards, well, how is he handling the situation versus how he's handling his own feelings on it.
Yeah. All right, yeah, go ahead and make me another medium difficulty cowardice check.
That is 1, 2, 3. So I am going to actually spend willpower this time.
All right.
Which I believe puts me to 7 because I had gained 3. Reroll these dice. Okay, that's way better. That's 5, 4, 1.
That'll do. All right, you maintain your stress level.
And I think Chad just kind of like falls back and collapses on the like pile of rubble, and just is like, "Hey, y'all okay up there? Everyone good?"
I'm okay, big guy.
And with his good arm, he's just kind of like, actually, I think he waits to see if he hears from Roman first.
And he does. I mean, it takes a few moments because Roman is just kind of like sprawled where he had hidden, as the pain is now not something he can ignore, and is just like, yeah, we're still alive, Chandler.
And slowly the good arm goes up, and the thumbs up is just lingering there in the air as he is splayed out. Arm kind of like his other arm kind of like tucked into his chest.
All right.
And then finally his arm falls, and he's just like, "Fuck, bro. Fuck this."
I think Laura offers Roman her windbreaker.
Will that fit?
Yeah.
It's oversized on her. It's the 90s. Oversized athletic gear was
fair.
the style.
Or Roman?
Valid.
Probably. Not Chad, but Roman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Valid.
I mean, Roman's tall, but he is very slender, so yeah. He just stares at it, and he can't hide the look of disgust. He can't, but he just lost his shirt. He needs something, if for nothing else, than to protect him from the elements. So he takes it, and he does thank Laura. And then
Yeah.
tugs it on, and
You'll be
gets
back
to
to
his-
your wardrobe soon enough.
I don't have that many shirts to lose.
Little bit of help down here.
Come in.
And Roman manages to get to his feet and, like, bracing an arm against his chest. Again, not used to having a broken bone.
Mhm.
Does his best to make his way down.
All right. Down is a lot easier than up, so I'm not going to bog things down with that, so you two can carefully make your way back down to Chad, who is propped up against one of the support struts for this walkway. Would you guys like to attempt to treat these injuries that you both have? Or would you want to do something else first, relocate?
Laura's also an athlete, so I think she knows about dislocated joints.
Yeah.
I think she's like, oh shit, man, give me your arm, give me your arm.
And it's probably one of the very few things Chad has actually paid attention to in classes, because it's something that directly impacts him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So my hope is that the two of them together should be able.
Yeah. We do the 3-2-1 and try to jam it back into place.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's easier and slightly more pleasant than having to do it yourself by throwing your shoulder against a wall. That fucking sucks.
Yeah. We've been there.
I hate all of this.
I have been both of these characters with these injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same.
I've only been the one.
When you are in one of the larger weight classes doing judo, sometimes big people land on you, and they land on you the wrong way, and it doesn't go well.
Sometimes you're super drunk at a music festival and you stumble getting into your tent.
That's so true.
And sometimes you're riding horses and things happen.
Yeah,
It's fine.
God. Yep.
Three very unique perspectives.
Yeah. Sometimes you're fighting giant steel ingots.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about treating injuries to sort of wrap us up here, because it's already that time. So there is no magic or overnight panacea in Locus. In fact, there's no way of actually treating your damage that you take. You cannot get rid of points on your death's door tracker. They accumulate until you get through whatever adventure where we're going on. So we're not concerned about how much damage they've taken. We're just lessening the severity of the injuries, which will get rid of or lessen the mechanical penalties that they currently have. So to do so, this is going to be a normal check as to how you go about fixing this in whatever way. Because this is a major injury, it is going to be a medium difficulty check.
Okay.
So how would you like to go about snapping Chad's shoulder back into place? Is this just a straight brute force, move it back into place frailty check?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
How
think
do
it's
we
just...
handle assisting on checks in Locus?
Yeah, so there is no group check or assisted check in Locus, at least none that I could find. So I think for this, there would be one person who is pretty much leading the injury check, and the other person is I don't think it's really going to provide any mechanical benefit.
Okay. Maybe Chad ought to be the one who rolls.
Yeah, I think the way this will go down is Laura will like hold the arm for Chad, and Chad will kind of talk her through where he needs her. And because she is an athlete and understands this, it's probably a lot easier to just kind of shorthand it. And then as he's like mid sentence about something, he's just gonna try and like jam his he's gonna like throw his shoulder away and then jam it back and have Laura like shove his arm into place.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
You said some medium difficulty frailty?
Yes.
We are good. That is 331.
Okay, not by much, but you do manage.
We got there. Those doubles, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Every time.
What
All
do
right.
we do about a cracked rib?
Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah.
I mean, the best you can do is really just wrap it
Yeah, take it up.
and take it easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Chad will like offer his slightly too small undershirt and be like, you could like rip it and then wrap it. But like that's all I got right now, bro. I don't have. Anyone bring like the first aid kit? Do we have it with us? And does it have like tape or anything in it?
We did
Great.
have the emergency
Yeah.
supply bag.
You do have the emergency supply bag. Yeah. So actually, that is going to be an item that you can call upon.
Does Chad just happen to have it with him the same way he's carrying everything else?
Yes.
Sure.
He's just
110%.
Chad is the pack animal.
Yes.
Cool with it.
So this is going to use up a point of its durability. But it is going to make the test one stage easier, so it is actually an easy check for you. Or anyone who would be helming this first aid response. For this, I think it really would be more of an ignorance check to know how best to keep pressure and alignment.
And Roman's going to defer to Chad because Chad is the medical student, or
That's true.
soon to be medical student. Roman has no idea.
All right.
Here, what
So
you should
Chad-
do is advise him to stay hydrated.
Well, hang on.
Here, drink this.
So Chad puts down. I'm gonna assume he has like a bag with him that has the water that they wanted to bring for today and the like first aid. So he puts the bag down and he opens it and he pulls out the like first aid kit and he's like, all right, I can like talk you through it. And he hands it to Laura. He's like, but with my arm messed up, I don't want to like accidentally hurt Roman.
Gotcha.
All right, cool. Here, in the meantime, and he's gonna pull out a bottle of water, and he's gonna hand one to Laura, and he's gonna put one by himself, and then he's gonna pass one to Roman, and he's gonna go, stay hydrated. It's hot. We haven't had anything to drink today, and if that shit keeps fucking with us, the last thing we want is to not be hydrated when these things start trying to crush our asses again, bro.
You're so right, Doc. And Laura's gonna take a swig from the bottle and then, okay, what do you need me to do here?
And
And I will say Roman as well is going to take several sips from the bottle.
It's real hot in here, guys. You can down those
Yeah.
water bottles quickly. Now let me ask for
I'm so sorry because Chad exploded.
Yep. No, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Chad, let me ask for our cameraman's, our fictional cameraman's sake, when we zoom in on the cap of this bottle, does it have a little nick in it?
So I have a question before I answer that.
Sure.
Are we gonna wrap on this?
I think so. Yeah.
Then I would like to wait until next time for them to find out.
Okay.
That's okay.
We see the camera look over at the bottle just in time for Roman's hand to cover the cap and twist it off. And he's gonna start drinking as Chad, you come over with bandages, and let's at least get the injury treatment out of the way. So JD here voluntold you into rolling an ignorance check. But the item is going to reduce the difficulty down to easy. So you will be consulting your highest dice value, but you do need a 5 or higher with your ignorance of 4.
Laura as super smart.
Chad will try and talk her through it.
Yeah.
Oh, Laura's taking this then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Chad is talking Laura through it, and Laura is following instructions. I don't know if actually that's a good question, GM. If he's talking me through it, but I'm the one laying bandages upon the lad, who rolled the dice?
Because it's your application of what is being told. Yeah.
I'm the one laying the bandages upon the lad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any mistakes that are made are on Laura.
I would love to spend a willpower.
Okay.
A solid play. Malicious?
Laura needs a 4 or higher.
I rolled 1, 2, 3.
All right.
There we go. 5, 5, 2.
All right.
We've got the lad.
And unfortunately, you guys have been doing pretty good on your stress test. I need to make sure these rules are in order because you guys have a lot of willpower and not a lot of stress. But with that, you wrap Roman's torso, get that nice and put together. There's a bit of wincing and gritting of teeth because it's also not a pleasant experience. Roman, you're not going to want to overdo it, but you don't have a mechanical penalty anymore. So you can, on the back of your character sheet, reduce the severity to minor, so that injury actually does not matter. Mechanically, definitely play it up narratively, but mechanically, we have dealt with the penalty for that injury.
Is that the same for my shoulder?
Yes.
Or... Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Nurse Laura here to help.
All right.
Nurse Laura and Dr. Chad, let's go.
Can I pitch a card for being Nurse Laura instead of just leaving these guys here? I helped both of them. And they suck.
Chad has yet to do one thing.
We're not sure if that's
Are we sure about that, bro? Are we sure
that
about
anyone is aware of?
I have so many cards. Letting me pitch one is no problem.
Yeah, I'm worried about setting the precedent of allowing you to discard a card just for any act of helping out the group.
Valid.
I would say this is a pretty big one though. She's playing like a big role in dealing with, at least on the mechanical level, something that's like a big deal because it locks down our easy checks.
Yeah.
I don't know if that translates enough in the narrative. But I would make the argument that, and I hope it's okay that I'm doing so.
Yeah, no,
that's free to be like, Lion, shut up. But
no, that's great.
I think it makes a legitimate like difference between, well, she stuck around with us versus these things that very, very legitimately might be what keep us alive longer.
Yeah. Yeah, Laura
Yeah.
easily could have said, okay, I don't need to be faster than the bear. I just need to be faster than these two injured knuckleheads.
Yep.
I'll allow it. I'll yeah, go ahead and throw out one of your cards.
Yay!
Um,
Yeah.
but this
I
this will
cannot.
be an ongoing. Like, I'm not gonna let you get rid of a card just because you hand somebody a bottle of water or something.
No,
Yeah.
no. This is just like the way I see it is like in that moment,
Yeah.
Laura
No.
made the active choice to unsabotage the lads.
Yes. Absolutely makes sense in this situation. So this is actively going against your haunt. So I will
Yeah.
even let you get rid of a haunt card there.
Okay. No, let me unpitch the 6 of diamonds. And
Yeah.
pitch the 8 of clubs,
Yeah,
because
there you go.
Unpitch that card. Yes.
Yes, please. Let's
All
cut
right.
these cards down. Y'all gotta catch up.
Just in time for me to give out the last of our hourly cards as we wrap up.
Fuck.
Nice.
Great timing. Good timing, everyone.
Fuck,
JD,
okay.
you got a 7 of clubs. That's
That's still neutral.
neutral for
God, you
you.
have so many cards, JD.
Lion,
I know.
Ace of Hearts. That is another haunt
my
card.
haunt.
You're
Wait.
you're freaking out a little bit, and an Ace of Spades for
Woo!
Laura, which is a virtue card, so you can drop that and gain 3 willpower.
Which is
Nice.
good. That brings me back to 6.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think that part of what's keeping us from freaking out too much is at the beginning of the game we all hit virtue cards pretty well,
Yeah,
right? Which kept our willpower up, so we had that willpower to spend as we get to this point.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am
Anyway.
definitely going to be raising the stakes the next game and going forward, especially if the next game is our finale. We will be talking about that after the show. But I will point out for our audience that Laura here only has 4 cards in hand. That's doing pretty good. Chad has 5. That's still down in second level. So freaking out a little bit, but we've seen Chad play that up. Roman is at 8. So Roman, going forward, I would appreciate if you could play your character as seriously freaking the fuck out. Whatever that means for you, whether you get angry, whether you get scared, whatever that means for Roman, but the weight of all of this is really weighing heavily on you. So I encourage you to play that up next week, because we are going to wrap here as we see Roman take a nice long swig of this water bottle, put it down, the hand wraps over the it's not a cork, the cap of the water bottle before the camera pans out towards the group. We see them sitting amongst themselves, catching their breath, and then it pans back over to this heap of debris that has been melted in this sort of dome of steel. And we see this little pinprick of light somewhere down in between the debris of this. Looks like it's just starting to heat up, like the dim red glow of hot steel.
Uh-oh.
And we're gonna pull away there, fade to black, and pick up with this not next week, unfortunately, because we will be off next week. So we will pick this up again on the 17th, June 17th. All right. Whew. Made it through most of my notes today. We'll talk about some of this during the after show. I'm not going to stay too long here. I thought this was a great episode. I'm finally, getting back in my stride. It's been a weird time for me lately. But I think we're really hitting it with this particular episode. And once again, thank you so much, all of you lovely people, for taking these sticks you've helped me sharpen and presenting your soft spots for them. I'm really excited to see how this group holds together going forward. All right, so that's what we have for this week we did cover quite a few things actually as far as the demo play. We looked at monsters. We looked a lot at stress tests and getting rid of cards. Even we dealt with injuries and treating injuries. So we had a lot of good highlights for our demo play this particular episode. So I hope you guys found that nice and informative and entertaining while you were watching. But that's enough of me yammering on. Let me pass it over to these three amazing people who will take the time to tell you where you can find them between now and 2 weeks when we pick this up. So let's start with Kat here.
Hi! As I mentioned in the intro, my name is Kat, and I am the host, king of the podcast Sword of Symphonies, and the choir master of Roar to Heaven, and you can just find those in podcast robots, whatever. You can find my games and my podcasts at peachgardengames.com, or peachgardengames.itch.io, man, whatever. I write a lot of solo games. I wrote Blazing Hymn, which is for nerds, and Heroic Chord, which you might have seen right here on RPGs Uncovered, where I played a good boy and not a criminal. Most of the time I tweet horrible art I've done, or maybe paintings of Pokemon or Monster Hunter monsters. But sometimes I tweet things about game design that I've heard are insightful.
Excellent, excellent. Do you still have that bundle going?
I do not. My bundle wrapped at the end of the month,
Gotcha.
and lots of people were very helpful. I found out what the problem was, and my doctor and I are working on fixing it. So I'm one of the
Excellent.
lucky ones, and I'm so grateful to the community for helping me rest easy while I was
Yes.
literally couch bound for 3 weeks.
Excellent. But no excuse for you not to go check out Kat's amazing games, so go check that out. I dropped the link for you.
Hey.
Lion, I know you from some other places, right? You look familiar.
I try. Hello, I'm Lion. I'm the creative director and founder for Tales from the Table Studios, which is where you can generally find me. You can also find me on Twitter at the Lion Knight 42, as well as at TFTT Studios, because Tales from the Table Studios is too long for a Twitter handle. But on all of their social medias, you can find us at Tales from the Table Studios. That includes the Clock app and Instagram and a bunch of other places. Whatever, doesn't matter. Go check them out. They're cool. You can find me, apart from here, over on Tales from the Table Studios 3 Mondays out of the month as the overseer, tail slinger, GM, whatever you would like to call it, for a Crumbling Foundation, an SCP-themed actual play that I'm lucky enough to run and have an amazing cast for, which includes both Jack and JD. You will also be able to find me this upcoming week on Thursday over at Tales from the Table Studios, where we will be having our return for Season 3 of The Successor States of Rhaegar, a formerly D&D, now Pathfinder 2nd Edition game run by the amazing Jack Gogsbane, Jack of Gods and Game Masters, Jack of Tales, which explores his home setting of his third-party setting of Rhaegar, and has been an absolutely phenomenal time so far. If you haven't yet, you should absolutely check it out, because when we return, things are going to be very interesting. We're going to be getting into political intrigue and some other things of that nature. It's great. But before then, you won't see me for this one, aside from a quick peep at the beginning. But Tuesday on Tales from the Table Studios, we will also be debuting a new miniseries called Crime Solvers Anonymous. We're going to have our full cast list out tomorrow. It's really exciting. We just did Session 0 the other day. Everything went phenomenal, and we cannot wait to introduce you to our cast and crew for a game that will focus on what happens when a group of young mystery-solving, detective-solving teens and children grow up, and the struggles that come with it, and what happens when they are thrust back into a new mystery. Besides that, you will see me here and in a bunch of different chats while amazing people are streaming. If you're interested, we have a Discord. It doesn't matter. I'm starting to go into the wrong spiel because I'm a guest here and not the... Apologies for that, but thank you so much for having me. This has been an amazing time. I have been Chandler Chad Washboard Goldberg, and will continue to be for at least one, maybe longer, more sessions.
Yes.
And that's it for me.
My favorite thing is that literally none of us have ever referred to him as Washboard and will not.
Not even
Yep,
once.
yep.
It's true.
Yep.
We
Right.
won't do it.
I'm
And
pretty
I'm
sure
so
Chad
happy.
is the only one who refers to himself as
Yes.
Washboard.
Yes, Chad is the only one who calls himself Washboard. He's trying to get it over. It's not working, but he's gonna keep
We're
trying.
not
Roman
gonna do
has
it.
prevented that. Roman is the reason it hasn't worked. Roman's been like, you're not going to use that name for him.
The greatest act of sabotage.
Much like a small guy who is very fast but not good on the microphone in wrestling, it will just not work. We got to throw in at least one of those.
We do.
Yeah, you got to have promo skills if you're going to get over in wrestling. We referenced wrestling today. I got to bring it up once.
All right,
Valid.
excellent.
You're not wrong.
Right.
Well, JD, before a water bottle full of drug cocktail starts messing with you,
Maybe.
tell us,
Maybe. We
yeah,
can't prove that.
maybe, allegedly, tell us where we can find more JD.
You can find me most often with Live from the Apocalypse. I play in our every other week D&D game, Class Reunion, about a group of high school students who have been trapped in a fantasy world for the past 10 years and just reunited. I also can be found in the ongoing campaign Academy H, which is our Masks actual play podcast that we record every other Sunday. It is very good. You should listen to it. My boy does bone magic. I love him very much. He is incredible. The cast is great, and it is always a good time. And then you can also find me in Thy Kingdom Come, which is our Theocracy Urban Shadows game, which happens every other Friday. I also run 2 games on that channel. I run Redacted, which is our psychological horror game, every other Thursday, and I'm currently running a season of Secrets and Shadows, which is our Regency Monster Hearts game, which will be coming to an end of the first season in a couple of weeks, but we have been greenlit for a second one. And then currently you can find me in 2 of our Wildcard Wednesday games. I am going to be finishing up Founders Day, which is a backwoods game. Very good. We'll be hitting our finale this week. And then we will be starting Shadows Between the Stacks, which is our Call of Cthulhu Dark Academia game, where I will be playing in Table 1 and running Table 2. And of course, as already mentioned, you can find me over at Tales from the Table Studios for SCP, A Crumbling Foundation. And currently, you can find me here at least once more, assuming I survive, depending on what happens with this water bottle, for at least one more session, and maybe more, as Roman Hargreaves, the worst human being I've created.
All right, excellent, excellent. No, Lion's over here doing this with all of your commitments, and all I can think is you got a full face hugger of commitments right there, JD.
It's very true, and I love how on every stream I'm on, everybody has started to do this. They just sit there and count.
I wonder why.
Excellent.
It's almost like we love you or something.
All right, so a few more announcements on my end before I let everyone go, because I got a few things coming up. Notably on the 11th, so that is not... Man, what is today already? That is next Sunday. That is next Sunday. On the 11th, I will be over with Nerds with Dice again. I previously joined them for a Stoneburner game a couple weeks back. That was excellent. I'm going to be over with Nerds with Dice again. They're doing a whole month-long charity event for this month. For Pride and all that. I'm going to be over there at 3 p.m. on Sunday the 11th for a game of Lighthearted, which I know very little about at this point, but I will learn how to play the game by that time because it's what I do. But I'm really excited to be back with them. Excellent cast, such a great cause, and I'm looking forward to learning a new game and playing with some new people. So check me out there. Over on the 14th, I am going to be getting back to my Whip Workshop series with Witches of Midnight. So Wednesday, June 14th, 7 p.m. EDT. I'm going to be talking with Gavin over there about Witches of Midnight, sort of modern day Coven, very Shadowrun meets World of Darkness without all the sci-fi stuff. It's just modern day witches in sort of a dark alternate. Looks like a really fun game. Highly suggest you check it out. If the Kickstarter hasn't started already, it will soon. But also, speaking of that, the Kickstarter for Veil of the Void Yggdrasil will be starting on the 6th. Only 3 days away. That is on Tuesday. So that's going to be starting on Tuesday. We featured Veil of the Void as season 1 of RPGs Uncovered, so you can go back and check out that season, our first season. So the production quality is a little less, but it was such an amazing story, and it's such a fantastic game. So if you like sci-fi fantasy and like real bombastic cinematic action, go check out that game. And we just did a Whip Workshop creator interview with Trevor and Noble once more, talking about Yggdrasil. So that is up on our YouTube under the Whip Workshop series. So you can go check that out. And I should be getting to even more Whip Workshops going forward. I want to get back to doing that more regularly. And then you will be able to catch us here, not next week, but to pick up our story again on the following Saturday. That is the 17th. All right, I think that's all I have to cover. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had a good time. Go out and tell other people about the channel. Bring them in next week. Get them viewing the VODs, all of that. Help bring people in, because I'd really love to see more Mayhem Meter to help pay for this cast, which has done such an amazing job. And if you're watching on the VOD, feel free to tip as well. I will have that link in there, and I keep a tally of it, and they may affect the next game. So if you do donate, I will make sure that it is properly applied. Anyway, that's all I got. Go check out RPGs Uncovered on Twitter. We got a Discord. Come over there, hang out, talk with us, stay up to date on announcements, and help support on Ko-Fi if you are so inclined. We got a lot of goodies up there, character sheets, all of my GM notes, and we will have written tutorials and guides coming up shortly. But we're going to go do one of those fun after shows that's available on Ko-Fi for Adventure Tier supporters. So in the meantime, thank you all for watching. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, keep having fun, and keep checking back here at RPGs Uncovered, where we try to find you your next favorite TTRPG. And until then, when you are sitting amongst yourselves trying to bandage up grievous injuries from your travels out in haunted facilities, it's always good to have a little satchel of heart tomatoes to snack on, because they fill you right up. Happy time zone, everybody.